Hey, welcome back to the Metropole Grid. Hey, Laundry, thanks so much for tuning in. We've been gone for a week. It's good to be back. It is January 25th, 2024. Ban all waterborne cards. How's everyone doing? Yeah, we've been gone for a bit. Apologies. I got pretty sick last week, and it knocked me and my partner like totally out. It was like the day before, it was a Wednesday, and we just spent like basically a whole week on a couch. I'm still not in perfect health, but we'll get a stream out of it. It'll be fine. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you didn't miss anything too bad as much as I know I did. Oof, glad you're feeling better. Thank you, Kato. How's it going, by the way? Yeah, I don't know. We were like having really good momentum. I was really excited last week. A lot of like great stuff happened in succession. Okay, hold on. So it was like a Wednesday, and it's not Netrunner related as it normally isn't. I've been wearing Invisalign for about a year and a half. And it just came out last week, which is great. I got teeth now. It's been a whole like year and a half of the plastic stuff, and I got it out. So I went out on a journey, and I went out, got my hair cut, picked up some nice what's it called? I picked up some wooden tokens for Spirit Island, and got my teeth out, came home, gonna turn a new leaf, and then just got so absurdly sick from that adventure outside. And my partner came down too, and it was just like all grinded to a halt. But we're back. Congrats on the teeth. Thank you. They turned out okay. They turned out pretty good, actually. Can't be upset. Let me catch up on chat real quick. Pat, how's it going? Glad to see you don't have any visible boo-boos. Nanako the cat we were playing, she just bit me really bad in the wrist while the music was going. That's why the music was going for as long as it was. I was in the bathroom, and it was, I'm not great with blood, but it wasn't not. And so now I'm wearing a ridiculous amount of bandages. Hopefully everyone's well. Let me catch up. Yo, Rona, how's it going? It's the grid, Brendan. How you doing? Metropole, in your grid, more likely than you think. See, I see your comments from like 25 minutes ago, and the stream's not up as you're piecing together stuff, which is pretty funny. We should call the boat the C Ward. Better check out. Yo, Augustus, how's it going? How's stream going? I'm doing well. How you doing? Finally, time to play some startup. Ryan, we might be playing some startup today. It looks like we have a chance of playing some startup today. Considering we'll talk about the news. There's a ban list now in startup. They finally did it. There's 2 cards banned in the format that used to be without a ban list format. Now 2 cards are gone: Drago and Endurance. I still don't know much about startup, but there's a chance we'll try and play some today. I saw nobody playing startup when I did a quick lobby check, but that might change if we decide to. So we'll see how it goes. Today is the day to bring your Sunk My Battleship memes. Forgot the cause going. Dajin, hopefully you're well too. Spirit Island, such a good game. Emily, how's it going? I got really into Spirit Island since Christmas, and I picked up a lot of it. And then I haven't played in about a week because, again, that sort of stuff hasn't been really possible. So I played like no Netrunner in a week. It's worth noting that like we were off for a week being sick. I'm still not in perfect health. I still feel really foggy, just genuinely foggy. And I worry that's going to catch up with me for a long time. So we'll see how long that lasts. I have like a really hard time focusing. Well, it'll be okay. Yo, Janktivist, caught your Tuesday VOD from last week. At some point, you casually slipped in. You got the secret scenario, real ending to Forgotten Age details, but also like no spoilers. So we haven't done it yet, but we've unlocked it. For those who don't know, there's a secret ending. There's usually a true ending to every Arkham campaign that requires you to run through a lot of things to get there. I've seen them in I think every single campaign besides Forgotten Age, and Forgotten Age is one of the ones that's most obvious that there's something you've missed, because there's an entire encounter set that like 99% of players don't use because it's only necessary for this one real final true ending. So we haven't completed it yet, but we've unlocked it, which is further than we've ever been. So we're going to go and pop off and do Jim Culver's side scenario first. I'll parallel Jim Culver, and then we're going to do it. So it won't be this Monday. It'll be probably next Monday. Maybe Trash or Busto will delay us a week. So we'll see what light spoilers. You have to fix everything, and you have to pick no sides. I think that's the best I can say. But there's obviously a story. There's 2 main characters in Forgotten Age, and siding with one of them or the other one is something that's presented to you pretty commonly, so that's not a big spoiler. But there's a third route, obviously, so Try and pursue that. And then you have to do everything perfectly, just as it usually is. Keeling, my beloved. Daria, Keeling's still there, right? What other issues are there in startup? We got to keep, passing the buck down and have a reason why we don't play the format. So next one will be Keeling. It'll be Nana Civic. It'll be fine. Those two cards made the format kind of boring since it's all about trying to solve for those cards. Yeah, in terms of, I don't know enough about startup, right? Like, I don't know if people were playing startup as a competitive format. I don't know if people are using it just as like a casual format. So I don't know how big of a problem the problems we assumed to be problems were actually problems. I'm imagining, and we've seen results where it's like, oh, at Worlds, the top winning deck wasn't playing Endurance and all this sort of stuff. And I feel like getting data from any of those data points is really strange. Even just like looking at the Startup World Championship data points are so weird. I think the person who won, Tradon, who won the Startup World Championship, played less games than the person who came in second. It's a weird tournament. So I don't think there's any good startup data for the modern startup meta for a really long time. So maybe we see it, but I wonder if people are still out there playing Sunset. So yeah, we missed you past week, dude. Hope you're feeling better. Thank you, Janktivist. Shout out to all the folks who like checked in to see if I was all right and wished me well. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Spirit Island is next on my rapidly expanding new board game list. Kato, it's pretty great. It's really, really cool. It's like the sort of game too that I can sink a bunch of time into solo every once in a while, which is quite nice. And if you want to try it out, obviously TTS or there's a really good digital app. It doesn't have all expansions in it, but if you want to try out the digital app, I don't know how good it is at teaching the game, but at running the game, it's pretty good from my understanding. What happened to Startup Without Bans? How's it going? That's a name in Cyrillic that I won't know how to say. They decided against it, and that's not really a surprise. They've been talking about that for a while now, that they made the Startup Balance Committee. So yeah, it's going to be a really short ban list for what it's worth. I guess we can pull it up here. Because startup is the most drastically rotating format. So like come 2 months when the new set comes out, all the Borealis rotates anyways. So this is going to be one of the shortest ban lists of any Netrunner format, where it's going to be only around for 2 months and then it's gone, which is pretty wild. But we'll go through this article a bit more. COVID or flu? I have no proof that it was COVID. My partner did one test once and she came out negative when she was like pretty in it. But I'm assuming it's just flu. You're back, great to see you. Thank you, Tron. How's it going? Got quite sick, actually. Once again, Shapers don't have cards. I don't know if that's entirely true. I think you can play Arasana. I think that's a weird thing with startup. It's like looking at startup, the card pool is so small that like, how many identities are there? There shouldn't be a lot of identities, right? Like there's two. Oh, I guess because there is System Gateway still in it, or sorry, yeah, not System Gateways, System Update. There's a couple startup, like you could play Quetzal, you could play Reina. But like at the end of the day, there's going to be 1.5 decks in startup for any faction, if you ask me. And I imagine if you're playing Shaper, you can play Arasana relatively well. Dao Hermes is a really good deck too. Hermes, excuse me. It's high art, high fashion. So I think there's probably a couple, but it's obviously like there's a reason people like standard. There's a lot more you can do. Forgotten Age kicked our butts on the first playthrough. Forgotten Age is so good. It's like straight up. I don't think Sir Scarlet Key is going to fall into this camp, but it was like the campaign when it came out that everyone kind of, derided it because it was incredibly difficult and it punished you for no reason, for doing nothing. It was just like, oh, oops, take some trauma. And then as the years pass and you get better at the game and your card pool expands to be able to deal with it, it is very easily one of my favorite campaigns by a mile. I would like play Forgotten Age at a drop of a hat. Specifically, the return to exploration mechanic, I think helps a lot. I think that does do a lot to make the game a bit more interesting. But yeah, just so good. But I agree. We went into it without any evaded characters, promptly died. Yeah, that'll happen. It was also the first campaign for evasion to be good. To be like something that you want to really do, as opposed to just like making a problem a later problem. Sometimes making your problems later problems are okay. The problems are there being no good Shinteki cards in startup. Yeah, I could see that. I think personal evolution and damage is probably still fine. You don't have sting and all that. You still have Keeling, so maybe that's not that big of an issue. But yeah, I'd imagine the card, like, it's going to be really hard to make a startup that everyone's like, this is the best startup when it only contains like 100 cards. Like, how many cards are there per each faction in startup? It's probably tiny. Cards, startup, faction, Jinteki. There's 44 Jinteki cards, right? Like, How many Jinteki decks do you want me to be able to build out of this? There are 44 of them. What? Some of those are agendas. Like, this is the thing that when it comes to startup, like people wanting, I think maybe a bit too much out of startup, I'll be honest, which is why I think startup is really cool, but transitioning to standard is good. But it's legitimately hard to make a breadth of interesting decks and or have, you know, enough options when you're only 40 cards in your faction. Imagine that some of these were bad. Some of them are. TVA can be brutal. Mr. Riley is the card that got me through it. I have always cut Mr. Riley through from my deck. It is always a really, really good card. But I genuinely cut it because, well, I mostly play 3 or 4 players, so I almost never am a mystic that's using Flex Evade. Okay, on that note, let me catch up on chat. Well, one more Arkham tangent, because Arkham release dates. What the hell are Arkham release dates? When's the new thing come out? Does it come out tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow. Nobody can decide whether it's tomorrow or not. It might be tomorrow, might be in February. Try to make content. Who knows? Who knows? Was that 4 or 5 pieces of ice that seemed like crazy loan for 44 cards? No, it's more than that. It's probably like a dozen. Yeah, there's 12 ice. They were grouped by release date or something. Oh, by name. So yeah, no, there's 12 ice. The ice is actually not terrible. I don't think there's that much ice that like looks really goofy in hindsight. Like all this stuff is playable besides basically Lotus Field. I would imagine. Again, ice is it more or is it less relevant with endurance? The monkey's paw curls. Go find out. Start of his balance. JK, we're finally banning boat. How's it going? I don't want to dunk on that. Like, I think that's a good start. I think, again, I just want to put in context. I like balancing a format when you have 44 Jinteki cards and trying to make Jinteki good, if that's your goal. There's a chance that there's no amount of banning that's going to make that happen. And that's fine. You got to understand. That's okay. I lost my point, but you know what I mean. Digital Habit's good tutorial that you can run on the free version of the mobile app. Steam doesn't have it separate for free, though. Oh, I didn't know that, Ricardo. That's really good to know. Thanks for the rec on the Spirit Island app. I'll definitely check that out. Yeah, it's really, really good. Arsana and Dow are both great. Yeah, I'm not surprised, Lucille. That seems great. Ari without Cubon feels sad, though. It's definitely not standard Ari, but I imagine there's still a lot you can do. And maybe there's a chance that you have to build into like some of the weirder cards, right? Like Living Mural, maybe that is your killer now. Probably isn't, but it could be, right? Because there's nothing that's like this. You still have Turbine and all that nonsense for a while. So Shaper Rigs can just be like good stuff Shaper Rigs. Yeah, Ika is like, I don't think that big of a deal. Hey Clayton, very funny to me that it took so long to ban 2 cards they banned nearly a year ago. Imagine folks in lab coats staring at Dragon Endurance, scratching their heads. How do we solve this? Clayton, how's it going? You know it's not that, right? Like it's just coming down and agreeing on a way of thinking about startup, right? Because very specifically, they want to not curate startup to make it as approachable as possible. It's not so much that they couldn't figure out what cards like are problematic. It's funny. Yeah, I agree. It's funny. But more so to agree on like, what do we want startup to be holistically? Do we want to get something as with little barriers as possible? Oh, you bought the cards, go to a startup event, whatever those are. Right? Like, I think that's kind of more the point. It's not so much like we did tested without Drago and we figured out NBN doesn't work or something like that. My first and only attempt at Forgotten Age was with a drafted deck, which was my error. We were driven insane with a few scenarios to go. How bad was the deck, Pat? Yeah, hey, morning, Jai. How's it going? Haven't seen you in a while. Yeah, I got quite sick. Hopefully you're doing okay. Had the post-CBI Bloods for the last 2 weeks. Bummer to hear that. Mind you, those videos are now coming up on YouTube. Hey, NSG, you want to just plug the Metropole Grid at some point in that description? That'd be nice. That'd be good with me. Just get that put that in there. Yeah, we put this stream together. This is only day 2. Day 1 is like 8 to 9 hours. It's pretty long, so that'll be probably later. But yeah, if you want to watch it, it's really good. Finals are really good. Day 1, really good too. Shout out to all the people who shared the mic. Everyone was great. Everyone was great. Keeling's actually a Wayland card. Jinteki's always isn't allowed good ice. Bummer. Been playing startup on Jaina, and it's been anecdotally mostly Thule and Zaya lately. And I think there's a Thule deck that did really well at the startup championship at Worlds, not the World Championship, but you know what I mean? I would play Zaya or I'd play Criminal pretty easily. I think that's what we're going to try today because I think like Hermes is in a really good spot. Run-based aggression is pretty good if corps are destabilized. I think like Brawn is probably still very, very good. And so HB is reasonable. Thule is a good one because it taxes outrunners and slows them down. That makes a lot of sense to me. Otherwise, in terms of HB, like precision design is probably fine, right? Like just good PD. Run every Jinteki card, watch win rate soar. Yeah, I played Jinteki before. I know how it goes. Good evening, random question. Evilon, how's it going? How do you do, and what is your favorite super compact board game to travel with or carry around? How do you do? How do I do? As in, wait, those are the two questions? No, I think how do you do is not a question. What is your favorite super compact board game to travel with or carry around? It depends who I'm traveling with. I'm imagining modernly, circa 2024, if I was traveling with like my partner, and I haven't played this 2 players, but I would play a game that's like super easy to teach and is minimal. So like bringing something like the Crew or Scout, which are tiny boxes, that'd probably be the best. For a while, I would like travel with Hive Pocket in like a backpack. And if you're at a park, you could pull it out, something like that. That's pretty fun. My family's also into Air, Land, and Sea, which is a tiny box too. So I'd keep that around if I could. But I'm not like the sort of person who would like pack down, you know, their copy of insert big box here that they've like shrunk the box and carry around with it. I don't think I'd carry Netrunner on me unless I'm going somewhere. Then I would just carry 2 decks and some tokens and call it a day. But that's probably the answer, unless there's something I'm forgetting. Yeah, that's maybe doesn't answer board game to you, but I'd probably carry like a card game. Otherwise, I'd carry like a pack of cards. There's a lot of good games you can play with a pack of cards, like just a standard 52 or a Slovenian Tarok deck if I'm with my family. That's always a hit. And Tarok is like legitimately one of the best card games. Like Slovenian Tarok, which is like a slightly different Tarok. It's the sort of, you know, thing where you have like the Pat de Skis and the Mund, and you have like a deck of normal suits and then like tarot cards, like these ones. This game is absurd. It's so good. It's a trick-taking game in which you like bet your call of how many like think you're gonna get, and you play with teammates, but the teammates are hidden. Fuck. Okay, let me tell you how good Tarok is. It's a trick-taking game similar to, I think, Hearts, right? Bridge, probably. And at the beginning of the round, everyone looks at their hand and makes a call. Not unlike also Cat in the Box. Cat in the Box is a really good travel game for my family. Where you call how many hands you think you're going to take. And then each call is very difficult. You're either going to call that I'm going to take like a 3 card or a 2 card or 1 card. It gets harder and harder and harder. But one of my favorite things is the base calls you call a partner. So you'll say like, okay, I'm going to call that I'll take 3 and my partner will be hearts. So whoever has the king of hearts in their hand and you deal out every card in the game is now your partner, and your scores work together. But your partner can't say, hey, I'm the hearts person. They have to be cool. So you're playing the game, and then halfway through the game, once the king of hearts comes out, you realize, oh, we're partners. Oh, those other 2 people, because you normally play 4s, are the enemy. And that is so cool. That's not a secret traitor, but it's a secret anti-traitor. There's somebody at the table who either wants to go out of the way to quickly show that they're working together, or use that misinformation to their advantage and confuse the whole table. Well, nobody knows who's they're working against. There's also bonus points if the king that was called on partners is the last hand taken. So you're really going out of your way to make sure you don't get cornered, but then you have to capture it. Tarok and Tero, and the French versions I never played, but Slovenian Tarok is like kind of incredible. And I've hundreds of hours playing this with family over holidays and as a kid and stuff, but it's just so good. There's a small chance you call yourself, either on accident or on purpose, when you call your own king, which don't do that, but it's so cool to have like a secret person working with you, and it's going to be revealed throughout the game, and it's exciting for everyone. It's like such a cool mechanic. Let me catch up on chat. Startup Ari is just doing Ari things until you have good stuff, shape a rig. Yeah, that's not that different than Ari in normal. Balance Team doesn't invite me over anymore. Yeah, old Patrick. S is good and fun in startup. Yeah, I believe it. S is pretty good and fun in just about every format. I think ESA can largely exist outside of a card pool. But yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm a little sad Endurance is banned. Like, it's good for the format, but I like playing startup, so I could play with silly, strong, expensive console the same way I like Nexus decks. Yeah, no, I hear you. Like, Endurance is a fun-ass card. Like, I don't honestly think it's good enough for Eternal, which is a bummer. So there's a card that's like too good for those formats, but not good enough for the other format. That is a bit of a bummer, but we'll see something like that for sure. I do like big console and I do miss Nexus, but Nexus is of a more reasonable power level. Get the most mileage on my Shards of Infinity For being easy to teach, cheap and compact, but Hive or Magnetic Pocket Set is another good one. Doesn't need a table. Also pocket chess. Yeah, cool. I don't know what Shards of Infinity is. What cards are you most sad about to rotate out next? Out of the entire card pool, Scrub, that's a really hard question. I'd have to look at everything because it's the biggest rotation, right? It's probably I don't know actually. Huh. It's probably something from Rain and Reverie. Border Control. It's probably Border Control. The System Gateway demo decks? Duh. Yeah, but then you need all those. I don't travel with those. I have them sleeved up though. Hanabi is great to travel with. I'm not the biggest Hanabi gamer. I find like so many people just like Hanabi is a really cool game to teach people because it is like, oh, genuinely a surprise. What do you mean I hold these the other way? But so many people play Hanabi like trash. And I don't mean that in a gatekeeping way, like they're bad skill, but just as in a like, this card is, you know, and it's really hard to police that. And then the game's not fun and people get stressed. Like, this is a 1. You know what I mean? Airland and Sea is such a good game. Shyman, how's it going? It really is a really good game. Airland and Sea is kind of sick. It's basically Marvel Snap. Love bringing Love Letter everywhere for quick games. We need something more than that. Innovation. Oh, I've never played Innovation. Love Letter, yeah, we have that on the shelf. Oh, there's something like Love Letter that falls into that camp pretty easily too. Skull, but I would play Skull with like a 52 card deck too. For the Queen and Hanabi are quite compact and fun, yeah. Radlands travels well. Oh yeah, Adjunctivist, but I own like the really nice Radlands with the playmats and like, so no. But if I'm traveling with my partner, like Radlands is a terrible choice. She does not like Radlands. Oink Games have plenty of tiny box that are quite high quality. Also many games from Scott Elms. Justin, how's it going? I don't know who Scott Elms is, I don't think. He lives. Jeff, how's it going? Hopefully you're doing well. Skull is so good for small games. There you go. Jake, how you doing? Good morning. Love me some Q. That's the good stuff. Always Duke 2 turn 1. Surely nothing bad will happen. So it's like spades, but for part of the game where you don't know who you're paired with. Yeah, I think so. But it's only if you call with partners, which is like the common calls. It's like the easiest 3 calls all have partners. But yeah. Like the answers, I literally care exactly what you mentioned except Tarok, which sounds sick. It's really, really good. There's resources to learn specifically Slovenian Tarok. How hard is it to get Tarok cards? You don't get Slovenian Tarok cards. You get Tarok. Just search Austrian Tarok cards. Oh, those are words I don't know. If you just search Tarok deck, do you just get one? With a C maybe for the Anglos? Yeah. Yeah. Bavarian Tarok. You can get these decks. I don't know how easy they are to get. One company makes them. Apparently, yeah. And all the decks are the same. Just every like sort of kind of band of Europeans play a slightly different rule set. But if you can find a Tarok deck, it's like sick. You cannot play it with a standard 52 because the structure is really different. There's like, again, suited numbers, but not every single number. It's Jack, Queen, Knave, and then King. So there's 4 face cards. And then it's 1 to 21 on these sort of like Roman numeral cards. So it's like, it's a totally weird thing. It's very strange. What console are people playing in Eternal? Yo, Emergency Hedge, how's it going? Shit. Well, Shaper's not going infinite anymore. Criminals are playing Desperado. Some Anarchs are playing Desperado. Cipher probably doesn't see that much play. The best Shaper console? That's a good question, honestly. I don't know. Yeah, I would imagine Astrolabe is really, really good. Rip Snare? That's a good one, yeah. I even ran Astrolabe in S. Ratlands does sound great here. The only one I recommend is Hanamakoji. I've heard of this. I don't know what this is. Cool, but I've heard of that. I've seen that before. Currently trying to figure out how to compress down Clank Catacombs. It's just something that travels well. This is not possible on pure cope. A lot of people just like, you know, you can travel with Dominion, right? It's just like, it's cards at the end of the day. Just cards. Clank is just cards, right? Marrow sometimes gets played in Eternal. Yeah, I imagine. I think the core damage Eternal decks are like underexplored. Michael, how you doing? Hopefully you're well, eh? It's pretty late over there. Scott Elms makes a lot of tiny epic series and solo board games. Good to see you. Oh, tiny epic stuff. I haven't messed with any tiny epic stuff. I'll be honest, this sounds super, super petty. The name Epic, Doesn't do it for me. I don't know what it is, man. It just doesn't. What is this? This is an epic board game. I'm like, okay. See you memers. It's a shitty take, I'll be honest, but I'm gonna be the first to say it. Sounds like a standard tarot deck would work then. I think so, but not like not like a tarot deck for like reading fortunes. That wouldn't work. No, not this, but like French tarot is a card game, right? Yeah, this should work. I'm imagining the French tarot should work. Yeah, that looks like the same. You just have to learn all the Slovenian words, and those are fun. Is your second choice for that slot like Pantograph, or is there something better that just never gets on the cost, never gets seen because Astrolabe? So for those who don't know, this was like the console in standard for a really long time back in the day. It was spelled slightly differently, but that was mostly that. And it was sick. Shaper had really bad consoles for such a long time. It's, mind you, whenever Shaper gets a good card, it gets banned in multiple formats, is kind of a joke. But this card came out and was totally so nonsense. And for a bunch of reasons, right? Firstly, it's 1 credit for 1 MU, which like, steal? Like, okay, you don't gotta work harder than that. But then draw 1 card whenever the corp creates a server. It's just a good ability. Against most decks, it's 1 credit for 1 MU and it draws like 1 or 2 cards. Fantastic. But then the set that this came out, and this plus the next like 3-4 years of Fantasy Flight Games Netrunner was asset spam. So there was so common that your Astrolabe you dropped on turn 1 for free in Kate McCaffrey. Imagine it says like as text, but slightly different. Drew you like 8-9 cards. It stops you from dying because a lot of kill combos sometimes had to install cards. It was just like, okay, pay 0 in Kate, get 1 MU, draw 12 cards, seems good. And it was just the console. And back then too, like Shaper consoles were really bad. Like there's a precedent set for like Shaper consoles being very expensive and not very good, right? Like Toolbox, 9 credits to get you 2 recurring. That's a lot of money. And back then when this came down, honestly, 2 recurring credits felt pretty good, but that's 9, right? Then things got even more ridiculous. What's the really 18 one? Oh shit, what do I not know the name of the 18 one? I look at Turntable and Desperado. Oh, the other good consoles? Monolith. There's so many asset decks in Eternal at the moment, it draws like 15 plus cards often. Yeah, 100%. Monolith was an 18 cost console. This one's a bit of a meme. This one, like, I don't think was meant to be competitively viable. When it installs, when it comes down, you can do stuff, which is pretty cool. But yeah, it's really expensive. And that's not really good. If you want to play a really cool console in the format that I think is probably a bit better than, you know, it's ever been, is Blackguard. This sounds absurd, and the problem is like corps are probably too fast for this. But there's a lot more expose effects now in the entire card pool. That this console is kind of mean. There's just not that much ice. But like these are the sort of things where like I want expensive build arounds that give control over the game. This card was never good. But imagine that where you expose a piece of ice and then they have to res it. They have to. Like you basically can control their money. It just doesn't make any sense. The other good consoles, mind you, in the format that are worth playing. So when I played at Worlds, I played Desperado in Anarch. I played 2 of these. It's just absurd. It's absurd. It's just absurd. It's just the least amount of text you can write on something to make it that good. It's just like a free 18 credits or whatever. No big deal. Don't worry about it. You know how people go out of the way to like, what is that really bad one? Demolisher? Where it says like the trash cost of all cards is reduced by 1. Yeah, do you know what's a nicer way to write that? That. It's just that. But this is better because then you have the money. And it works on every server. Cards shouldn't be this good, but yeah. And then the other one that's actually really impactful is Turntable, which kind of happy this doesn't exist right now. We're feeling Hermes in this sort of slot where it's like a card that is so powerful against a huge range of small and big agendas, and then agendas with agenda counters on them, that a lot of corporations, when Turntable were around, it was a huge liability to explore with the whole card pool. The same way right now that playing with Hermes around, it's like a really bad idea to put a bunch of 1-pointers in your deck. This is the same reason where it was bad to play with 1-pointers and arguably with 3-pointers for a while, because if you traded a 1-pointer for a 3-pointer from the corp score area, oh boy, you lost the game. So that's not good. 2 is a tribute to the original 2X core set. I don't think Wizard wanted 3. I have 3. I have 3 core sets. I'm that kind of gamer. I used to love Doppelganger and Max. So much fun. Doppelganger never is spelled the way that I think it should be. But yeah, the art on this, I prefer the older art. I used to have this in my phone background for a while. Yeah, it's not very good, but it's fun. It's fun. It's not very good, but it's fun. ECing a monolith though? God, wait, what's EC? Uh-oh. Two Blocks Dinosaurus and Monolith were like the first three Shaper consoles. They have a rep for having bad consoles. Xerxes, how's it going? I think Dinosaur is like a totally fair console. But Toolbox is not good. But I think Dinosaurs is honestly like a reasonable console that did see some sort of pseudo competitive play. Right? Like it's just Turbine. It's just Turbine. So it's worse. Oh man. There's so many asset decks internal. Astro draws like 15 plus cards. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, are we demonstrating Netrunner today at CanCon? Wait, hold on. We are demonstrating Netrunner today at CanCon in Canberra, Australia. We already had a few new players. Get a gateway kit and join the community. Dave, firstly, how's it going? I want you to know that whenever CanCon is said, that means Canadian content. So you confuse the heck out of me, but I understand now what's going on. That's sick. I'm glad it went well. Showing off Netrunner to people is like an absolute treat because once people see it in play and see face down cards, like they light up so hard. Well done. I'm a big fan of Race for the Galaxy. I have a patented Netrunner deck box, so it condenses down nicely. That is one that Mushin my brother also really liked, and I really trust my brother on those sort of crunchy games. But then he was the one teaching it, which is like not a good start usually, and it's like super, super dense on what's it called in Symbology. That one also has a good app. Oh, Emergent Creativity, right. Hey, Jessica, I feel like Astra would be totally dead draw in a lot of games too, though. Astrolabe? Yeah, but the floor is really good. It's a 1 credit, 1 MU card. Like, it's fine. That's the thing is, like, you're right. If you got this too late, so be it. You also played multiple of them so that you could pawn shop it. A bunch of Shaper decks were on pawn shop economies back then. So, like, you would sell them and then install another one if you needed to. So it was never terrible. The floor is really low. Like 1 credit, 1 MU slot is like, the floor is low enough for that to be fine. How's it going? I missed your name there. If they install a single spin, you're already in a great profit for the MU. If it wasn't so cheap, you would have to think hard about it. Yeah, that's exactly it. Dinosaurs had a big issue in that it had to be played first. Dino Yog did break every code gate in the game though. 6 strength code gates were pretty rare. It was like the wormhole was like the hard one for a while. Pawn shopping your console, it was the only way that you could play 2 consoles back in the day. Back in the day. Dinosaurus plus Puffer equals OP. Dinosaurus says non-AI, but it says no MU, right? Yeah, non-AI. That's a really good clause that they figured that one out that early. That's like surprisingly well thought out. That just says non-AI. I think Crypsis on this would actually be okay. Race is an awesome game. You just got to get through the icons. Yeah, there's a lot of icons on that one. If I ever migrate to Australia, Netrunner will be the #1 reason. What's number 2, Jai? My brother calls everything cardboard board games. They still haven't found the body. Oh, man. The listed code gate in TIA, strength 6 strength. Yeah, this is back in the day, I mean. Back in the day, there was nothing it couldn't break. And then like Wormhole was like well, what if they install Wormhole? What do you do? Question when it came to like Yogg builds. Wormhole was actually kind of sick. I've seen some weird Wormhole breaks back in the day. Okay, we're going to go into the deck list of the week. I said I would do this really quickly because there might be people. Are we losing Obokata? Yes, but it's already banned Scrub, so we already lost it emotionally. We're totally fine with that. It's better without it. This Hemlock Veil thing, right? Okay, so Hemlock Veil, Hermlock Veil, Arkham. This is the new product for Arkham, and we haven't had a new Arkham product in a really long time. So this is really nice. This is a really important thing for me, maybe for you, for your friends who are into Arkham. And the way that Arkham comes out, it comes out now in 2 boxes. Many, many moons ago, it came out in a deluxe box and then 6 packs, 1 per month. And then you had to collect them all to build the story. And there's some merit to that, but also this is better. Now it comes out in 2 boxes. 1 box drops a bit prior to the other one. It comes with all the player cards. So you get everything. You just get it all. You can play with it. But then like 2 weeks later, it comes out with the campaign box, which has all the campaign in it. It's a more expensive box, and this will come out weeks later. The problem is it's the year 2024, and we still don't know when things come out anymore for some reason. It's a mess. I don't know when this comes out and when we should be expecting it. Because the problem is some silly part of me thinks it's tomorrow. And I need someone to come in to let me like absolutely just like get my, it's on the boat. No, it's not. Like my expectations need to be wrangled because, okay, upcoming page, it says it's in production. That's not a good sign, but like it says US release date January 2024. This is on the Fantasy Flight Games website. US release date January 2024. There's not that many days left, but it's also in production, which means in a factory somewhere. That's great. Fantasy Flight Games, oh, they have another spoiler. Let's not talk about that. If we go to like Asmodee, which is the parent company, and we go Asmodee, Arkham Horror, Hemlock, Fail, Investigator. Asmodee North America is bad at release dates. Good. Because they say, shit, 1 second. Okay, wait, Asmodee North America. They have an online store. You can buy directly from Asmodee if you don't like your local game store for some reason. And they post a date too. Well, it wasn't here. Apparently this works. Okay, this is news to me. They say that the Hemlock Investigator expansion will come out February 16th. So that's in like 3 weeks. This is USA active. Okay, that's news to me. However, when I searched the Asmodee board game store, it said that it would come out on February 9th. And then when I go to like my local game store, the Dice Owl, Hemlock, Fail, Arkham Investigator, it says tomorrow in red letters. How does Fantasy Flight Games and Asmodee present 3 different dates? This game store, it could say whatever, right? Like, I don't think that they're going to be the final word on it, let's be honest. But like, it's not tomorrow, right? Like I should just, this is rough. If I'm new to Arkham, what do I buy in 2024? In 2024, it's the easiest it's ever been. If you want to play Arkham Horror, you go Arkham Horror and you buy a core set. You make sure that you're buying a core set that's good and expensive. It should be a big box. It should cost about 60 American dollars. And it should be a big box that's taller than it is wide. They redid the core set and now it comes with a lot of stuff and a full play set, and this is really good. Now the core set comes with a whole bunch of player cards across all 5 classes, and it comes with a whole mini campaign of only 3 scenarios. Scenario 1 is a good learn to play. Scenario 2 is a great scenario. Scenario 3 sucks ass. It's really bad. From that point on, I would recommend going and picking up a campaign. So they have been doing this thing where they've been going back and repackaging a bunch of the campaigns. And so now the campaigns will come in the exact same model that I just talked about. So there's an investigator expansion and a campaign expansion. Again, when you're purchasing stuff like this, you have to be very particular and watch out that you're purchasing the reprinted stuff. You can tell it's reprinted because it's not being sold for $14 when people are trying to get rid of stock, but it'll be a bigger box, and on the back it'll say this is a whole campaign. So I'd recommend next picking up a campaign that's been reprinted in the full set, because you have to buy 1 box and you have the whole Dunwich campaign. And then if you want the Dunwich Investigators, which is a nice starting spot, you get the Dunwich campaign, what's it called? Investigator expansion. I would start there. Enjoy that. Play it a bunch of times. The campaigns are totally replayable, and then you can go on and get a different thing. And just keep doing that for a bit. There's also starter decks, which are really quite good, actually. It's one of the better ways that if you really like one faction, and say one of your friends really likes another faction or their class, Arkham Horror, they have a set of 5 different starter decks that come with like a pre-built deck and then a sideboard of extra cards for you to upgrade into as options. And they're all legal outside of the starter decks as well, which is fantastic. There's 5 of them. They're really good. They're just generally really good products. So I'd recommend there, but core set, start there, and then pick up Dunwich or Carcosa are the ones I'd recommend next. There's some campaigns that haven't hit the reprinted model yet. Avoid those. Like the Dream Eater cycle hasn't been reprinted yet. Innsmouth hasn't been reprinted into the new format yet, I don't think. Avoid those. Some of those are good campaigns. But generally you want to play them in order if you can, and they have been released in order for a while now. So go through them and play that if you can. It's really good. If you have any questions, hit me up for sure. Andre, this isn't an intervention. It's not tomorrow, and it's okay. It's not tomorrow. We'll get through this. What I wanted to hear, but I also didn't want to hear it. But I think you're right. Thank you. That's really helpful. Scrub, the game's great. Thanks for asking. But yeah, just make sure you're buying the revised core set, which, why didn't I do this? Never mind, it's not where I think it is. Psych, it's here. It's a big box. And now the boxes are great because not only do they come with a full play set and everything, it comes with like storage and organization and enough tokens, and it's really good. But just make sure anything you're buying in the revised set, which means everything will come as Dunwich Campaign, Dunwich Investigators, and there's 2 boxes. That's it. One for only player cards, and then one for only campaign stuff, which is actually really useful. Like, we have a play group in which one player doesn't buy any of the campaign stuff. That's good. He just buys the player cards, saves him half the money, and he just plays with us. We don't care. Okay, I'll catch up on chat. I just joined the stream. What's the title? Are you saying the Bo got banned? Andrew, yeah, in Startup. They banned Endurance and Drago in Startup. Startup now has a ban list of 2 cards. It's an interesting approach. Yeah, it's much better than it used to be. It is much, much better than it used to be. There's something to be said too now that because campaigns are all coming within a single box, they can be a bit more creative with the structure of the campaign. Because classically back in the day, you used to buy the deluxe campaign box and it had like the first two basically like scenarios, 2 or 3 scenarios. And then every month you'd have to go to the store and buy another box that came out, like kind of like data packs in old Netrunner if you played like 7 years ago or whatever. And now because everything comes in one box, they can like be a bit more ambitious with their structures of the campaigns for better and for worse. So who knows? Is tomorrow like when they open pre-orders? No, they already sold it to me. Global logistics shipping hard? No, I believe it, but like I think the biggest problem is like no one has a release date. Like Fantasy Flight Games used to be really good to be like the release date of this is going to be on this date, and they got nothing. And then Asmodee produces 2 release dates, which is the parent company. I don't know. What do you think this is? I'm just gonna leave that bug up there. What do you think that is? Maybe the bow was banned before it got there. I played Arkham properly for the first time. I finally see the appeal. It was super fun, really thematic. Yo, Jake, what did you play? Who is your favorite investigator? Like in the upcoming set or in general? In general, it's probably Patrice. It's hard to say, like, your favorite. There's a lot that, you know, you like. Patrice I'd play, no doubt. I've been enjoying Parallel Jim Culver more than I thought I would. That's weird. Ursula is a lot of fun. Kamani's great. What's her name? The airplane pilot. She's kind of the most fun you can have. Hasn't updated since August last year. RIP. Investigator expansion was originally this month, but we have official confirmation it's delayed to end of next month along with campaign. Oh, Garrick, do you have a quote on that? Do you have citation kindly? Not that I don't believe you, I just like to see it. This reminds me of the Lion Clan pack from L5R. They had 3 different release dates. They missed all of them and gave out a copy for free to everyone in the world. Look at that. Oh man. Can you give me the high-level pitch of Arkham Horror? Netrunner is the only LCG I've ever played with, and my wife couldn't get into it, but she loves Yogg, Sothuri, so Arkham might be a good one. Yeah, okay, so high-level pitch. Arkham is a cooperative campaign game, sort of, in the world of Arkham Horror. So every campaign, if you want to play them, and they're standalones, you can play as one-offs if you'd like, are basically stories that you're put inside. You control one character, and your character has stats, and you build a deck, and you customize your deck, and you know, you build something not just similar to Netrunner. And then on your turn, not dissimilar to Netrunner, you have this like click structure. You have an action economy where basically you have 3 clicks, just like a corporation. You have 3 actions, and then you have these base actions, just like Netrunner, where you can draw a card, take a credit, stuff like that, play a card. All it takes on actions. That's largely it. You're kind of going around places, and then things are going to happen in the narrative, and there's 2 big ways that you progress: by finding clues, which generally you need to do to advance the story, and then dealing out damage. Anytime that you want to interact with a game, you're generally doing a test in which you compare your skill to the difficulty of the test. The higher your skill is, the more likely you are to succeed. But at the end of the day, it's always good fun because you have to stick your hand into a bag of tokens, and then you pull out a modifier token that generally has a negative number on it. And that is how you compare your skill to the test. So after you pull a -4, if you're still equal or higher than the difficulty of the test, you pass. And there's a token in there that just says auto fail. So get fucked, right? Like that's how the game works largely. You have an action economy of 3 actions, and then you're going on adventures. Game's really good because you can play it either as like a crunchy, you know, numbers min-maxing game, like card gamers, like Netrunner card gamers. You can play it as an RPG where you just be like, what would my character do in this world? And they have a lot of really cool thematic characters that have a lot of like cool deck building restrictions, and that's fun too. And the game's also really good at failing forward and failing into a story no matter how it goes. Some people say the game's really hard. Some people say the game's really easy. It depends on if you have a card game background, you kind of understand that sort of stuff. But the game is really good at pushing on a narrative regardless what happens. Very rarely will you fail so hard that the story's suddenly over, unless it is for really impactful reasons. And that's kind of it. And the stories are really good. So like the first story, Dunwich campaign, is all about going out into Dunwich, and there's a train, and then there's a thing crawling around a museum, and I'm not going to spoil that. There's one where you go down to Mexico, and then I think to South America. No, I think it's just into Mexico. No, you go into South America, and it's about jungles, and you're, you know, jungling through that. All takes place in the 1920s. There's one about a play that's a bit weird, and one you go into the dream world, and it's all real fun. So those are good campaigns, yeah. It's a pulp-horror cooperative narrative card game with deck customization between levels of the story. Yeah, that's one of the big benefits of Arkham that a lot of people like. That's very different than other of the like kind of LCG card games, cooperative solo card games, is that for everything that you've done well, you get experience points. And then between games, you can upgrade your deck with experience points. So the deck that you are bringing into the final scenario in a campaign versus the first scenario is very different. It's kind of like upgrading in an RPG where like, or you know, a tabletop RPG or whatever, where it's like, oh, now I can have a better version of this, or I can spend a lot of XP on this character who's now going to follow our team. It's really good. It's genuinely very, very good. If you ever played against the other Arkham games, it's basically like them thematically, but mechanically a lot tighter. Yes. Oh no, did you get the Boatman? No, I haven't played Stardom, Andrew. It can't be me. Let me catch up. Hold on. Winifred? Yes, Winifred Habamuck. She's the airplane pilot. She's sick. She's really fun. FFG used to be good at release dates. I've played their games in like 11 years, and that's news to me. I've always had stuff come out on the release date they've advertised in Canada, barring problems with Lion Rampant, who used to be their distributor here. They probably still are. Wondering if the boxes will release at the same time. They've usually been a month apart. Yeah, that's why I saw that they were meant to be like January 26th and February 17th or something like that, but maybe not. Winifred is Mashpee Wampanoag, specifically, which is a tribe who are indigenous to eastern southern Massachusetts. So Arkham. Yeah, I know she was from First Nations people. She's also meant to be based off of pioneering female pilot from the era. Hey, Ellen, how's it going? Sweet. My partner and I are in the middle of a Dreamlands campaign, really liking it. Abstract, how's it going? Are you doing both sides at once? This Arkham stream is awesome. Yeah, tell me about it. I was excited to start an Arkham channel because the new set was meant to come out tomorrow. Let's not forget you can also gain all sorts of traumas and weaknesses. Oh yeah, that's a fun thing, is that there's bad cards in your deck. Like bad stuff happens in Arkham all the time. Like it's not only good cards in your deck, you have to put cards in your deck that you draw, which are like, oh, oops, detective's on you. Oops, you're cursed. Uh-oh, your hands are trees now. Like bad stuff happens for no reason. It's great. The other release dates all precede the calendar, so this is the most recent word. The calendar I just opened on accident? Investigators got pushed back to the same as campaign a few days ago. Okay, Garrett, can you give me a day and I'll just trust you on it? We can have bad cards in your deck and never do. D, how's it going? Hopefully you're doing well. We're doing both sides. Oh, sick. Okay. Currently, this is mid and late February. Well, buckle up, y'all. I'm kidding. It's a Netrunner stream. We're chatting other card games. New Summoner Wars decks are out and they're great. Patrick, no one plays that game, Patrick. Credrick. This is Tuna's list. I'm excited to play this. This list was an absolute treat to see, as much as we only saw it, I think, once on stream. It did do a really cool thing when we did see it do its thing. And it's an op Kill deck. Now I got some question marks here because there's an interaction here that makes little to no sense to me, but we'll be breaching it in just a second. In short, agenda suite, tiny and cursed. We're playing as few agendas as possible so that meddling runner can't try and close the game off by their win condition. So we're running all the 3-pointers. This one's a real fun one to put on the table because numbers get big fast. SDS drone deployment because FEO programs. Are you going to do a totally separate channel from the Arkham stuff or adding this channel totally separate, Kato? It'll be called Velma's Diner. I already have the URL. I worked a bit on some branding stuff today. I don't like my logo. I'll probably scrap it. I don't know, man. Logo stuff is hard. We'll just have no logo on the channel. It'll just be like Comic Sans text on white. It'll be fine. The weaknesses make some of the best roleplay moments. Like you're planning to commit a card, but then your selfish nature says no. We have a teammate like kleptomania is a problem. One teammate is falling asleep all the time. That's an issue. The thematic, I always try and pick thematic weaknesses. They're really fun when they show up. Just start kicking down doors. It's an issue. Got a problem with doors. Summoner War is genuinely fantastic. I've heard good things about most recent decks too. Yeah. Somehow both times I've rolled Trish, I got the detectives following me around, which is really annoying. The detectives can be, that's the blank your ID one, right? Or oh no, you just mean like Trish's detectives, yeah. Would I sign up for Comic Sans Arkham? I wish well, okay, hold on. We should probably find it. It can't. Apparently it's not that, but like I think I can't own a vanity URL until there's enough people that have like watched a video or something, but there's nothing on the channel, so I can't link you to it. If I search Velma's Diner, like some other stuff comes up because somebody, you know, made a show or something. If I go to like channels, but it won't show up because there's nothing on the channel. Anyways, I'll link it at some point. Yeah. Oh, the detective's a blank your ID. Okay, cool. From the core set. Have you ever played what's his face? The politician. You got the detectives a blank your ID. It's fucking cursed. It's really bad. Logos do suck. You're totally valid. They're really hard. It's an absolute sink where you're like, there's so much branding work you have to do before doing the fun thing. Calendar says something like 16th and 23rd until recently. Now it says 23rd for both. Thank you, Garrick. I appreciate it. But the content logo can come after you have an audience. Yeah, I hope that's true. That's how it works, I mean. Okay, so cool things this deck does. Bladder just hurts people. What's a punishment for them not trashing our stuff? Well, we have 2 punishments. If we can afford one of these, which we often can't, is hostile architecture. It does a whole bunch of damage, 2 meat damage. That's pretty good, especially because we have weird kills out of weird amounts of cards in hand. And then we have 3 wake-up calls, which is really fun to see this card. That says if you've trashed something, either you're going to remove one of your hardware or non-virtual resources, or you can take 4 meat damage. And often you can make that not a choice because a lot of times we're good at making putting the runner on less than full cards in hand, so they have to just destroy their own board state. And merely if you just keep destroying your own board state, can you keep up to the corporation? I don't know, potentially. There's obviously great targets with this. Nob Curries, you can't trash imps themselves. Trashing Miss Bones would be good. Parisha you can't do, but that's really fun. And then you have all other sorts of burst damage and value. This card, you got auto trash. This is the most busted op card in any acid op deck. People are not respecting it. I think we saw in the finals that Augustus was like, shit, I should have trashed that. And giving your opponent 3 credits on a 0 card res, and then they grab a card from their deck, put it on the table, and then res it for free is a lot of value. It doesn't matter. You have to trash this. It's very expensive, but imagine an asset that reses that gives you 3 credits positive on the same turn. And not only that, it allows you to search your deck for a card and res it for free. This thing's absurd. You need to destroy this thing on site. It's the most powerful card in the deck. Yeah, it has to go down on site. Or on 2 Marylands, which is a great thing to trash with your Sfigators to get your 1 costers. Even if this ticks out on its own, this is a really big thing that runners have to understand when you're playing against acid op, is that on turn 3, after this has been ticking, there's only 2 credits left on the Maryland. And you might be thinking, whatever. But no, it's not whatever. It's huge, because not only is this 2 more credits when the Maryland fires, it's 2 credits more and then a 1 coster from free from their deck. And that's in theory a big reason why asset op, you have to trash assets even if you think they have minimal value on them. The idea that like a Regolith, which is not on the deck, or like a Drudgework with 1 counter left. Sure, that's only left them hiding 1 more agenda. That's not a big deal. It's not, but it's them hiding a 1 more agenda and then getting a 1 coster for free, drawn from their deck, installed clicklessly, and rezzed for no money. That is a lot of value. So you have to make sure that even these cards that seem middling are treated with respect, because when they trash themselves or they're trashed by only Sphigator, we have no extracts, they will get you more and more value. Drudgework to get rid of our agendas. Clearinghouse is a cool win condition, and this is a part of the deck that I don't love how this works, and I'm not sure that this deck is actually the best to capitalize on to use it. So the idea is that once an urban renewal goes off, you trash this thing, and then this trashes itself before you before it's done its 4 meat damage, right? Am I talking this through right? Urban Rokoko is 1. Yeah, hold on. Do we kill it from R&D? No, probably not. You want them to draw that and then install it on the table, but you want to kill it on the table. Ideally, you have a nice way to check it on the table. If they're icing up their Sphigator, it's fine. They have other stuff to ice up, so it's not really iced up. But generally, if you don't want to be running R&D and trashing cards that much, as you can avoid it. I think the key benefit of Rokoko's interaction with Clearinghouse, yeah, 100%. Now I'm trying to figure out how to get the Urban onto the Rokoko, but the big thing that I don't like about this deck, the way that it uses Rokoko into Clearinghouse, and it's not so much a deck problem, but it's just how the game works problem. The idea is that you can crack a reconstruction contract at the end of the runner's turn, and then you can move the counters from the reconstruction contract onto the Clearinghouse, and then you can use the Clearinghouse as a way to kill the runner or protect the Clearinghouse for the next turn in which you want to kill them. The issue, though, is that because of the way that the world no change in game state exists, the only way that you can crack Rokoko is by having a legal target that can be advanceable before the Clearinghouse hits the table. And so there's a whole bunch of like these op decks that are working hard on the Rokoko line because they want to advance this, because they're also running Urtica, and Tuno talked about how it didn't want to run the whole Urtica package. It doesn't make that much sense. But the problem with this deck is we only have 1 advanceable ice. We don't put a lot of things on the table that are advanceable. So unless the one of is Yef, and mind you, there's some discussion whether you want to play more as Yefs for sure. We're not playing fast advance, but classically, a lot of times the urban renewal into Audacity as Yef threat has been the threat, is that you actually can't crack the Rokoko. Right? Like, that's so strange to me, is that there's only 1 target on the deck, on the table, is the Hordem. And if the Hordem isn't on the table, and it has to be, even if it's unrezzed, you can't crack the Rokoko without calling a judge over. So not really a deck thing, it's just a really annoying no change in game state rule. But if you're really excited to crack the reconstruction contract to get the Clearinghouse for a lethal, you legally can't do it unless you have the Hordem or an agenda on the table. Hush the Hordem? Yeah, funny enough, yeah, if you hush the Hordem, it can no longer be advanced. Errata Scavenge, recruit Scavenge, Judge Call. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know if that showed up during the event. JNet lets you do it, but it's so strange that like a big part of the combo of this deck is so fiddly based on a weird no change in game state rule in which it forces you to show every piece of ice to a judge to prove that you have an advanceable card. And then the deck only has 1 target for that. It's really strange. As had been explained to me, Rokokos are never big enough to kill on their own, so the plan is to crack, then to add a Clearinghouse already on a board, then you have them advanced manually. So the idea is that you're not doing Rokoko combos, is you're using Rokoko as an accelerant with Angelique and stuff like that. The Rokokos have some cool use. The idea is that you can use Angelique to click to load it. Mind you, seamless launch versions of Rokoko deck exist, but it's just such an ugly interaction that you need a target before you can get the target, and then it doesn't work. So yeah, we're probably not going to get a huge combo out. Also, shout out to Tuno. It posted a bunch of their replays, which is really, really sick. More people need to do that. If they're playing an event, save their replays and or upload them, because people really, really appreciate that. Rashid and Spin Doctor are the only cards that really look to trash out R&D. Cool enough, this deck doesn't even have a Rashida, which is wild. It's not the first time we've seen that in an asset op list. But yeah, it's not even on Rashida. But yeah, Spin Doctor you want to trash from there. Maryland, you could trash from Centrals if you really want to. But a lot of times you do want to just control the board. Because if you can control the board, mind you, this deck has no economy, barring like the Bladorits, the Wall-to-Wall, the very important Sphigator, and the Marylands. And maybe the Drudgework too. But if you can just stay on top of them and control the table and control the economy, they don't really have ice they can score behind, and they have next to no money. So yeah. Yes, it. If I messed that up, apologies. I did do know it as a pronoun. But yeah, it's cool. We're gonna see people get grounded out. I don't know if people got better. This is not an archetype that is super, super popular. I know folks at QTM were like grinding it a fair bit. I'm pretty sure we saw something similar to this, but more facet, like more of the fast advanced style at Worlds, which is another list that is I'm not too comfortable with. I don't know the list too well, but format carries are cool. Also really interesting. They goof up some weird math. A lot of times you want to res them just at whatever cost so that you can Svigator them and then get your Rokokos out and get your, more importantly, your urban renewals out on the table, which is great. Let's give it a shot. 3 virus also really, really important, which is great. No, Rashida, it's the one. Is the one dredge the only thing keeping us from Sunset legal? Yeah, there's a chance. I'm not too familiar on what Sunset is. I also think, interestingly enough, if we go to info, sorry, if we go to, hold on. If we go to actions and we go sort by set. Oh, admittedly, there's a fair bit of cards to make the startup legal. Usually it's not that bad, but yeah, Urban Renewal, Wake Up Call, Rococo, City Works are all informed. Okay, never mind. But yeah, it might just be that one copy. The thing I'm learning from this and from Worlds is that the way to win tournaments is show up with a Wayland deck nobody expects. It helps. It helps. It definitely helps. You have to play it really well, though. I don't know what I'm doing. Hold on. Okay. Let's go. Grudge work. The finals, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but the ending was really, really cool. And it played with like known information and it was kind of an absolute treat. Rashida work doesn't have a big ring to it. Played like 10 games with Tuno's decks and won most of them, but I feel like could have won way faster, lost less if I understood op better. Thanks for playing it today. Bombers, how's it going? I don't know if we're going to play it stellarly. Basically, the way that we're going to play this is we're going to prioritize building board state. That's it. All we're going to do is priorities in board state. Where it's going to get tricky is we're going to have to worry about getting a kill. And then there's a lot of things where it's like you have a window when they have low hand size that you have to understand, like, is the best thing to do is to put 2 urban renewals and stack them 1 turn apart. Usually that is what happens naturally. Or is it better to get 2 urbans on the same turn and they have to deal with 1 of them? And then you have a small window. Again, this deck can't really kill too easily outside of that, right? Like the idea is that sort by type, like we can't sometimes put an Uzief on the table, and then if they tank, you know, one clearinghouse, or sorry, a clearinghouse and or an urban renewal, then you can kill on the table. But it's tricky. It is genuinely a bit tricky. And there are some openings that we can have that I think have just no tempo, and then we can just be absolutely crushed. I think that we can draw some really bad openings potentially. Anytime that you have a deck that's like, because this deck doesn't have an oppo, it doesn't have a public trail. So if we lose board state, we actually don't have a lot of cards that can reclaim board state. And that what worries me sometimes with these sort of decks. Mind you, the blood and the water, the blood and on the snow, on the ice, whatever those kind of archetypes that have been around for a while. It was different than some of the other decks at the time. There were acid decks that could reclaim, right? Like controlling the message had built-in stuff. Oppo, hard-hitting news, right? Like if they trash your stuff, you had a way to attack them. We only have Wake Up Call, which is annoying. But if they trash all their stuff, we can't really do much to them if they keep cards on hand. So we have to get a good opening pretty consistently. That being said, Op is pretty good at that sometimes. Other things I'm not 100% sure is like, what are our opens? Like how aggressively do we go get that first spin doctor down? Do we trash like a wall to wall with a Svigator to get a spin doctor, just get more cards on the table? A little bit of that like sort of sequencing of how you build your board state is going to require a bit of practice with the deck for sure. But I've seen some op decks just be like using their 3rd spin doctor by like turn 7, which is a possibility. So if there's a rules thing that you weren't sure of with this deck, was that yeah, it was a not changing game state thing. All right, Essa. So we want to ice up HQ. Against playing a lot of Essa, I think. Essa can largely keep 7 hand size after playing 1 Marrow and just not worry about too much. Now, Wake Up Call is really mean to Essa. Mind you, for Sabotage, we do the trashing. Yeah, the corp trashes. Thanks, you too. This hand, not great. We have Maryland into Clearinghouse. Hostile is a bit expensive. A lot of op games are lost by resing a hostile. Excuse me, they can't afford to res. I would probably mulligan this. It's really hard for ESA to trash the Svigator that early. This is much better. Sandstone HQ is okay. We have Svigator Maryland, which will res a gain 2, trash it to Svi. And then we have a Forma carry for whatever we want it to be. So, off we go. So we don't want to get Chestushka here. I think we'll just put the Sandstone on HQ. Losing these to Central sucks because it doesn't have active text when it's not installed. Rip 2. So here we have Svigator into Maryland. If we had a 1-coster res, we can go get a Spin Doctor Svigator, which is pretty good. Marrow's coming down. I'm just going to go 2 from hand. We can get rid of a Clearinghouse from hand. And then we lost a boarding control, which is a bummer. Raindrops 50-50 here. If we res the Sandstone, he draws a card. I don't want to lose a 3-pointer that simply. Here, he should probably consider hitting the table. If he finds a Svigator and trashes it, we are cooked. If the Svigator lives, we're going to have tempo. Sometimes it's that simple. Didn't hit the table here. I don't think there's a big punishment. You've already rezzed, but now the Svigator goes off. And this is such a big deal, right? So we do the Maryland first to get 2 credits, and then we Svigator the Maryland. We'll shuffle it back in because we can. We'll get a 1-coster. Good thing about playing op online, you don't have to look through your whole deck. And here it's either, mind you, any card that we pull out won't fire this turn, but getting an Urban Renewal down is an annoying thing that he might have to worry about. He didn't get down to Banhar. We'll shuffle that back in. Okay, cool. Wall to wall, the next best thing we want. So we probably want to drop 2 cards, which puts Cityworks as the only card in HQ, which isn't sick, but we'll do it. Draw. Okay, Rococo. So if damage is taken, meat damage specifically, this gets counters, which we can use to move around things at fast speed. As you can also only crack this once it has at least 1 counter on it. You can't crack it for no reason. Wall to wall is good, and I think we'll put Forma carry on. We could do on HQ. Just stops to Chestushka. We don't have that much money. This is fine too. Actually, icing. Sorry. I'd rather ice up the Urban Renewal. That's a bit better. It's obviously going to be everywhere at once where we can move it. I don't know if this is going to be threatened that soon, but this is a thing that we want to protect for sure. So if not again trashes the Svigator here, that's the biggest deal. I think this is the most important card. Otherwise, we're going to get 3 more credits and a card out of our deck, which is kind of absurd. And you get rid of the wake-up call and the agenda in hand as well. So Forma carries are pretty tricky. Begamut, choose up to 2 cards. Okay. I think we'll just do 2 from hand. We lost the one. Ooh, shit, we can lose this turn. 50-50 here. That's super important. We actually can lose this turn. Move a Forma carry. Yeah, okay. So this is 2 meats damage. Strike fund, okay. If it misses, it's 1 more damage. Rococo missed. That's 1 more damage. Down 1 card in hand. Oh well. Now if that hit, run archives, you win. We've ripped 3 off the top of the deck. 3 cards in hand. So we have 1 Drudge Work and a Spin Doctor. So this is where it's really good for our matchup, because now we can res a wall to wall. We can let the wall to wall give us a card or a credit. I'm not sure what we need more here. Urban will take down for sure. Wall to wall will get. Now they know they can run HQ for credit and 2 damage. We're gonna draw cards anyways, that's fine. And then we'll Svigator the wall to get a Spin Doctor, and then we fix our archives. So there was a window there where things were really bad, but hey, we're back. And they still haven't trashed the Svigator, which has now given us 6 credits and 2 cards from our deck and allowed us to pull a Spin Doctor. Again, I'm gonna be a broken record. You gotta trash Svigator on site. This card is absurd. We just saved 5 points of archives and got 3 credits. You can't let that happen. Okay, onto the table things go. Server, 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 go. Now he has to deal with the spin doctor before wanting to do more sabotage. That's for sure. You always want to deal that. You don't want to play running hot here. And we got another urban renewal. We got to put a Hortum in front of that. No Twitch this time? Cat, it should be. How's it going? We seem to be on Twitch. Oh, it looks like the stream chat. Is this stream chat? Restream not working? How you doing, by the way? So we'll res this. We'll res this. Start a turn. Yeah, restream might have broken, yeah. Twitch chat's showing up on YouTube. I'm not sure. So we'll do urban, Maryland. We'll Sphy the Maryland. We'll get the back in our deck, I guess. One coster. So Bladderwort is fine. Wall to wall is fine too. Okay. Restream was working early. I see it on YouTube still. Yeah, no, it seems good. I think it's okay. So we want to ice up this urban. Ideally, we wanted to have a play here that we could score something after it, but our IZF is still in the bin. We could have gone that. So there might be some damage this turn. We also might have not wanted for the Bladderwort and put 3 urbans down and really force something ugly. So we're going to ice up the urban for sure. We haven't found a Banhar yet. So this urban is going to pop and this urban is going to pop next turn. The Rococo means that we can maybe fast advance. We'll draw once. We're going to ice up. Server 3, which should separate those. Apologies, that's a bit ugly. And then we'll put this into a new remote server. Unfortunately, we don't have a way to duck this Bladderwort. There's just been a minute since we set on Twitch. So now this turn's going to go off and we get a 0 coster after that. The 0 coster, I think, in this deck is either Angelique. Lamb's coming down. It's still very expensive. Because if you want to trash this urban, it's mostly you just want the lamb out of hand. Okay, so now we have to play this properly. And I'm not 100% sure what the lines are, but I'm pretty sure we want to just get a border control and use the urban. The problem is this urban is going to trash itself. Oh, we can actually use the server space, right? Yeah. So we'll res this. Start a turn, mandatory. So we'll use this urban to get a clearinghouse. Server 3. Hit a steel skin. I think Bladderwort for a credit. This urban goes down. Sphy can trash something. It only gains us 3 credits because we've already used our op ability. So they have to get through the Hortum and trash the clearinghouse still. This thing technically has 1 advancement on it because we can move with this thing over. Okay. Having a second reconstruction on the table would have been sick there. So they have to break this, which will be paint 2, so it'd be 3 credits, and then they have to break this, which is 3 credits, which is 6 credits. So I'm going to shuffle a border control in and an urban. Then we're going to start with this spin doctor. Okay. So I wanted another piece of ice here. We can do another reconstruction to fork. Because if this goes off, so now they have to deal with this, but they also have to keep cards in hand, and then we'll advance this once. If this is a border control, we would have been fine. Is there a way for Netrunner or Jaina to ice up the second urban, or can you only ice up the first urban and then the second? Whichever one you would ice up, it would have separated them appropriately, if that's what you mean. All right, contesting Spin Doctor here. We have agendas in the bin. We'll go bring those back. We'll see what happens. It probably is a running hot this turn. Yeah, there you go. We can get rid of the... Maryland. We'll do 1 Maryland. Lost an Anji. 4 clicks, but you need to trash this urban. And then you still need... you have to crack the stone ship now or you die. Wait, hold on. Action? Because this urban's going to do 4 damage. They have to crack the stone ship right now. As soon as they hit start of turn triggers, you got to do it now. You can't respond. You kind of got to do it now. All right, so then they have 5 cards in hand. So the Urban's going to go off. So we can't flatline. This is going to do 4 damage. This is going to do 2 damage. No, we can flatline. Depending on whether there's steel skin. So we'll trash this. Find a 0 coster from our deck. Yeah. We'll do... I think we'll do Anji. Just in case this doesn't work. So the Urban will go first. We'll do 4 damage. Yeah, okay. It's lethal. And then the Clearinghouse will kill for 2. That's it. Thanks for the game. They didn't trash Vigator. They gave us like 9 credits and 3 cards from our deck. You can't do that. You really need to trash it. Trying to dodge skill sense, why do the big damage first? Because Urban has to go first. And if Urban missed, okay, so it's actually, that's a good point, and I didn't fully think of it, but I think I'm correct. So the Urban has to go this turn. Clearinghouse didn't have to go this turn. So you're right that if we did the small damage first, which would have been the Clearinghouse, then we're more likely to dodge the Steel Skin, and then the Urban will flatline. The way that I looked at it is the Urban has to go anyways, so we'll hit the Urban anyways, and then if we hit a Steel Skin, we don't pop the Clearinghouse, and then we just advanced it, right? Like, that's the way I see it, is you're right. We could have played around the Steel Skin scarring. I think we only saw 1 so far. But, oh no, we saw all 3, so we didn't have to. But imagine we did. Say we only saw 2 Steel Skin scarring, 1 Steel Skin scarring. I still think we go for the Urban first because it's going to go. And then if it whiffs, then we just work on the Clearinghouse. Then we just do, okay, cool. I'll move this Reconstruction over next turn, and we'll just do advance, 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 and protect that. Didn't draw my Urog Mercs either. Oh, I had no idea you're on Urog Mercs. That's pretty wild. We would definitely trash that. With no resources, we could afford it. Good game. Do you consider trashing this Vigator? Again, I think it's the biggest deal. You have to trash this. I think it was your best play on turn 1 and turn 2 and turn 3 is just to trash this. And not go for the, for what it's worth, if you hit the 50-50 on HQ, which was a City Works and then the card you access, there was 5 points in Archives. I think on the second one where we just ripped 2 off of HQ, we lost 5 points. So it could have been over that turn, but you didn't check Archives, and then like we're very good with Svigator on the table to get Spin Doctors. Another good reason why you have to trash Svigator. S didn't have the credits. You have the credits on turn 2 to trash Svigator. And even if you don't, credit, trash Svigator is the game-winning line. Right? Like doing nothing, just trash the Svigator is correct. Usually. Yeah. But you sent it pretty hard on HQ. If you found an SDS, do you trash your Behemoth? I assume you do. I'm pretty sure you do, yeah. Yeah, Changeling. This deck is tough to beat and Svi's subtly crucial. Yeah, it needs to go down on site. It is, it's something else. I have another, and I have Boomerangs to get through ice. Cool. Kit, nice. We're not too ice-based. Kit's not the best at dealing with assets. Thanks, you too. We got the early Svi. We have a Bladderwort. Will we Svi as Bladderwort? Yeah, I think so. Svi Anji. See me and Toronto both got counterstep. Did you both try to jump in? I think I saw that a bit. Wake Up Call, it's gonna be okay. I think we're gonna keep this. We don't have the most aggressive opening. Ideally, we want a better Svi target than Bladderwort, but if we can get the damage from Bladderwort, I don't know if we can this turn. And then Svi it, that'd be sick. Oh, Former Carry's good. So we'll put Svi down, put the Bladderwort down. We'll keep her in hand. In theory, we want the expendability clause at some point in the game. And then we'll just ice up a server. Whatever server we want them to be more confused about. I was joining the spec before I decided I would play some Hearthstone. How's the new mini set? Nice. Moves the Forma carryover? I don't think we do. It's nice if the Svigator stays because then we can trash this because the Bladderwort. I think we're going to, just because they might bounce off of this. But if they trash the Bladderwort, we have nothing for Svigator. So resing this just so that we can get something here. Nice. They lost a creative and overclock. That did, wow, 8 damage. So now they kind of have to trash this. I won't lie, the deck has given me nightmares since CBI ended for various reasons. Trashing this is correct. Nice. This is good. They pulled our board down. This is really, really good. Because in theory, without a board, again, look at their hand. Do we do anything with this board? No. Paladin is busted in 18-3. Or like, how are you meant to play this hand? This is threat 3, right? Yeah. Just like a Netrunner Kappa. Okay, so again, we don't have economy in the deck. So we have this like top deck economy. We've drawn a fair bit more ice than you'd expect. We can put Anji on top of that. I think we're going to have to. She is expensive. Then we'll just get another ice down. So unfortunately, it's a fork between affording Anji and Formicary. But Urban Renewal is going to be a bit tricky. Leak also kind of sometimes looks like that one that gives you tags, so it's not as soft to pinhole. They say that, but they pinholed. So that's not good for us. Res and move Formicary. Yeah, okay. Odds of this being a Smurf pretty high? I think so. They're playing really, really well. And I'm not familiar with the name. They lost creative and deep telework. Sorry, they lost deep dive and telework. They trashed that. But yeah, no, this is what they're doing. They're keeping the table down. They're gonna have to install an expensive thing to deal with the Formicary. There's a chance that having Knights on Archives will be bad if they get down there 6 coster, but now they're making more money a turn than we are. But this is like where you want to be, right? Like, again, we don't have board state. Wake up call. Oh, wow. Actually, that was worth doing last turn. Oh, wow. I goofed it. I didn't realize we could wake up call. What was there? Free telework? Oh my God. We could have wake up called a free telework for 9 credits. That's on us. That is our only one recourse. That's very, very bad that we didn't do that. Yeah, I forgot this was resources. I thought this was only hardware, and I guess that non-virtual crawl is. Yeah, them losing 9 credits would have been good. Yo, Devatus, how's it going? Never miss the wake-up call. I slept in. Luckily, they are allowed to too. How you doing? Ngolo, okay, cool. So they break Formicary for 1. So in theory, we can do install, advance. So if we want to throw all our money with Angelique, Mavirus, Urban Renewal, they get through Formicary for 1, and then we do 5 damage. It's not great, but we're cooked. And this is what I mean, where like I do think there's probably games which this deck doesn't do anything. And if they didn't trash the Svigator, we would have had a game. But we don't. But this is where I mean, like if you keep them off the table and all they did is kept us off the table, we don't have a game. Cor, how's it going? So this Urban's going to go off this turn. They could, in theory, tank 4 damage. The fear to that is that Azief Audacity or Slash and Burn from hand ruins them. So now paying 3 for the Mavirus doesn't make sense. We'll pay 2 for Angelique. The Mavirus, the additional matters more if we're trying to go for a wake-up call. We don't have huge wake-up call targets here. But Anji for 2 is okay. Mavirus we could res for 3 to do 1 hit damage. It's a bit much. If there's a warrior tracker there, would be pretty okay. We'll pay 2 for Anji. Another creative and an Onicum. Onicum's a hard card for us to kill around. It's good to get that out. Yeah, if they had 9 more credits, we'd be pretty happy. Less credits, excuse me. That's on us. We just slightly don't have enough money to push out the SDS drone. We could push the Azief and hope. We could do Sandstone, Server 2, Advance. Sandstone, Azief, and Server 2, Advance. Or sorry, credit. They can still break this for 3. Like they don't have to kit this, but like there's a chance that no unadvanced card that they'd want to run anyways. If that's the case too, we want the reconstruction down. It might be a bit greedy, but scoring the SDF and getting the reconstruction is really important. Life at the bottom of the world's all right. Busy, but good up top. Oh, it's been okay. I got really sick last week, but it's been getting better. I'm still foggy. I'm envious of the summer you have down there. All right, R&D is wide open. Drone deployments are relatively safe with the Angolo. Hannah, nice. This is the difference, right? Like they've been actually playing their cards from their deck, but if all you do is credit, check the remote servers, right? Like they're in a good spot. Thanks for stream, get well soon. Thank you, Palmers. All right. So the one coster has to be out here. It won't, they'll probably want to trash it. Bladderwort, they trash clicklessly, but not creditlessly. Urban Renewal, again, we can't install here because the agenda hasn't been scored yet. We're paying the additional cost first. That's easy to mess up in person. Jaina has your back. I think Bladderwort's probably the best card for us. Actually, wall to wall, they might not trash. That's a second deep dive down. That's good. Nanotech as well. So this Formicary is not going to be broken for 1 for a minute. We can also wake up call Hannah. Convalesce well, thank you. But yeah, we need to make a play like that to come back here. And still, we don't got money. They gotta trash us. Just trash us. We don't have money. We gotta click for credits. We can maybe get a Bladderwort in there next turn. But if we do, we can't res the ice. Dirty Laundry, nice. So the Hannah server 3 on last click. There's no reason to do it sooner. The cool thing about Wake Up Call is like the choice is bad no matter what. It's like 4 cards, bad. Losing Hannah, pretty bad. But even if you have 4 cards, you rather lose Hannah a lot of times. Oh, cool. So Overclock's interesting, right? Because clicklessly, they could trash this for 3, but they're spending a click to trash it for 2. I don't know if that works out great for them. I think you want the overclock for like server 2. But Hannah here and click for credits probably fine, unless you like sure gamble here or something. Because like that's a click to gain 4 as opposed to a free click, but they only paid 1 to save 2. So they have to get rid of the daily cast. Because they don't have 4 cards in hand. Wake up the daily, yeah, for sure. The problem is anything we put on the table we can't trash. Or sorry, we can't res. We have just like slightly too little money. But nothing we can res here. So we have to put them on ice, right? Because we need this remote server to do something like actually reasonable. But we just don't have money to res this stuff. And again, the deck has no money if you can deal with the table. They've played 2 or 3 overclocks, 2 overclocks. They should have another 2 more daily dirty laundry, 1 more creative. They're going through their deck. They're doing good stuff. They're not using that basic action economy card. But on 0 credits, this is a blowout if it's Rashida. If it's Rashida, would have gone on server 2 probably. I wonder if we can keep the Bladderwort in server 2. I think we just do credit so we can res both of these. I think their multi-axis might be just 1 more, what's it called? Dirty laundry? Or a deep dive, excuse me. Wall to wall. Can't really afford to trash that. Especially if they want to consider this. You run out of money if the table gets dealt with. The idea is to present enough of a table the runner can't keep up, and the deck is very well positioned to do so. Oh, for sure. We unfortunately are not. Yeah, the respect that some players might have against Wake Up Call is going to be like very strange and very interesting. So here we're going to do Bladderwort damage first so we get some information. We hit a Nuka. That seems pretty good. Here it's probably draw a card so that we can put cards on the table. They didn't trash. Wake Up Call will be our next target for this daily cast. 1. I think no matter what happens here, we're pretty okay. Mind you, these remove themselves from the game, which is sick. So like, they don't happen that bad. But yeah, we might target this daily cast. They can just let the Splatterword fire. Some people tilt with Blatterwords. It's not that important. It's not a Svigator. But we'll definitely res what we can. They have good money here. Hannah will be good. Oh, nice. So they can only steal 3 points here. Which they're guaranteed to steal 3 points. That's good, actually. It turns on Angelique. So SDS, they took that. They see the second, so they'll know it's there. So now we can turn the screws a bit. So Blatterword for damage. We've got the third Ngolo. Nice. Wall to wall, we'll draw. I was going to say getting money might be important if we have to threaten this hostile, but now there's things on the table they have to deal with. Is this steal or trash? No, just trash. Shit. All right. We can fix our hand. That's 1. Sandstone is now relatively safe. I think we just put this out and click for credit. I don't know if we have much more to do. You need at least 1 credit, otherwise any program could win them the game. Wait. Why? So we didn't res that. Okay, so it goes down. So now Wake Up Call is alive. That's the last overclock. This urban. You kind of want to contest the Spin Doctor a bit first, but there's only so much time in the turn. Oh, like res the Sandstone? Yeah, but we're already pretty far behind. So here we can trash their daily cast or the Hannah. Here we'll probably go for the Hannah. There's only 10 influence in kit, so it's very surprising to see 2 Hannahs. Five cards in hand. It'll be down to 4 after we do the Blatterword. Third deep dive down. Oof. Nice. Okay. Draw 1. Okay. So we'll Wake Up Call. We have to make the choice first. Okay. It's Hannah or your hand. Smart choice. So now we have to watch out. Anytime that they like step out of line, Angie can kill. We probably have to set up some kill behind an ice. They've also lost, I don't know if they're on simul chips, but 3 Angolas are out, 1 nanotech. Like there might not actually be on breakers. We haven't seen a fractor yet. But you should res your Coco before the wake up in case they take the meat. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that is true. That is totally true. So Angelique in hand is interesting. I think we'll do this, and then we're going to try and work on the clearinghouse eventually. Terrence, how you doing? Stone ships? Okay, they have them. They only have 6 cards left. In terms of breakers, I don't know what they're on. They take the meat, they're dead to Angelique, so it's fine to hold the res. Oh, this. Yeah. If they take the meat, they would have lost. That's for sure. So they don't need to see this. Yeah, funny enough, yeah, we want to encourage them. Good point. We're just grinding them. Like, we've kind of just stuck to the plan. Onacom coming down. That stops them from dying at a lot of points, which is pretty good. There's a lot of agendas in R&D. They could win. City works are totally blank here. We probably should consider icing up R&D considering they have no breakers. Even just a Forma carry would be good enough. This is the same card. They're just getting money. Oh, they're trashing it. So Blatterwort. Here we'll draw. Okay. So we can get them down to 1 card. We can do install advance credit. Then next turn we can crack this for 1. We can crack this for 2. We can crack this for 3. That's an option. Install advance behind border control. Oh, we hit Fenders. Yeah, these Bladderwork hits have been good. Luke, how's it going? You only put good cards in your deck. Bladderwork looks good. I think we can do install advance. Install advance credit. If we want to duck Bladderwork, we res the Rikoko. We could also got him a virus on R&D. That might have been fine. But with Onicom, we're going to get goofed up on certain kill lines for sure. But they only have 7 more cards. They only have 6 more cards. So now I have to res this. And now the order of operations matters. So we'll do mandatory draw. We'll do Bladderwort first. We hit telework. I don't know if they breakers. We'll draw a card. We're looking for ice for R&D. So this could have done 1 damage, which we didn't do. So we will put this on R&D. With 3 Rikokos, we can fast advance an SDS next turn. Oh, that's really funny. Levy would be great for them. Would it? It would be pretty all right. They play a Harmony AR Therapy or whatever. Yeah, I think we had enough reconstruction contracts out there. We'd be okay. We could have considered advancing this. I don't know if they have breakers. Rip Levy, a real one? Game's better without Levy. They're running HQ here. We don't really have much reason to res. It reses a sandstone. We want to keep our border control credits. They're more important here. They can't steal the SDS. Trashing the Spin Doctor would be the worst for us. Yeah, that's fine. Or trashing the Angelique would be pretty bad too. Just play Grinder? Yeah, 100%. We're going to make sure that we can get this Bladderwork to fire every turn. And then if we top deck a City Works, we just jam it. Propeller, nice. So now the Sandstone has to be rezzed. For Propeller, it's kind of expensive. You don't have that many shots at this. Come on, Rikoko, nice. So I don't know if they can go much further here. They have 1 more Propeller break. We can't res the border control. They're down to 3 cards here. They trashed Rikoko, yeah. The real shot at this game if the Bladder didn't snipe basically every good card. Yeah, no, they had a shot for sure. This feels really hard on their side when like things slowly slip away. So we're at 3. We'll res this. In theory, there's some reason not to res the Marylands because it makes Bladderworts harder, but I think we'll be fine. So we'll do the Bladderwort. Okay. GG. Oh, GG. Here, we'll draw. We can get this on the table. We do install advance. Advance, it does 4 damage. Yeah, that's the game. Thanks for the game. That was the only 2 agendas, so I got a bit lucky there. All right, yeah, so our next play here, now they have 3 cards in hand, as we do install advance advance. This makes sure the Bladderwort sticks. We res the reconstruction. They can't steal this because this is 4 damage, and then we start to push off on the table. This was solid for the start, but too much grind value. Yeah, this was entirely just grind. This was no burst. This was just like Bladderwort behind this technically lives, puts a clock on the game. We did trash a Hannah and a daily cast. We could have trashed a pretty full daily cast. We have to keep that in mind, but yeah. Haven't figured out a good way to play against this op yet. Yeah, if they just have like 1 Parisha, right? Like things are so much easier. It's like 2 credits a turn. Yeah. Yeah, I think playing slow enough. Being a full hand. I think there's one turn that they spent an overclock that they shouldn't have, but I think they ran through their deck pretty fast. Trashing 3/3 deep dives is nasty. Yeah, it's pretty good. It definitely is pretty good. I don't know if they were able to deal with the sandstone. Like stealing the SDS, I don't know if you do it. Because they stole the SDS, which put them away from like threatening a deep dive. So I don't think you steal the first SDS. Unless you're like close to This list is Grugbrained? I don't think so. No, Grugbrained was on like Maker's Eye and stuff, wasn't it? I may be wrong. I wonder if SDS gets the Obicod treatment gets replaced by Liberation Part 2. No, I don't think so. Like, against Shaper, generally you play Simulchip. It comes back. It's meanest against Criminal. This is a matchup. I didn't think this would be very good. No Spark? They threw out their Sparks early. They got them early. I don't know if they played them or they threw them out, but I don't think they needed them. They dropped an Angola pretty fast. Oh, in terms of like the difference? No, yeah, no, the Sparks are in there. There's 2. There might be 1 more in hand. Yeah. I think the out is just deep diving for Cityworks over and over. Yes, if they landed a deep dive, they'd be okay. Maybe that's why they took the SDS and thought the deep dive would stick. We can count their influence too. Like another pinhole would have just made a problem here. But 1, 2, 3, excuse me, 4, 5, Fenris is 6. I think there's probably still a bit of influence we haven't counted for. But yeah, it's tricky. It's definitely tricky. Play the full skeletons to answer all the bones. This is Grug list. It looks like they need to have those deep dive sniped by Bladderword. Oh, deep dive was a Bladderword deck. Oh, excuse me. I think I'm used to like the other one from the summer last with the like twinning and prepaid and stuff like that. Okay, it's 10:30. Man, I'm still real foggy. What are y'all thinking? Do you want to try Startup? Are people playing Startup? I guess let's go through the news. By news, I mean Arkham news. Just kidding. Legwork, Pinold, Fenris, 2 Hannah as the influence. Oh, there's 2 Hannah. Huge. Okay, that is 10. Oh yeah, check this out. So H1 2024 circuit opener kit shipping update plus prize replacements. This is actually really important. I think this can be really important for a lot of people. So in short, we have an update. The status of 2024 H1 circuit opener kits. We're currently expecting to start shipping out kits in the last week of January. So soon. That's great. But this is a weird thing. When ordering last year's cards, we didn't do our due diligence on ensuring the card stock was similar to the standard printing of cards that players were already using in their decks. Unfortunately, this meant that prizes for last year's circuit opener, national champs, and world championships had card stock that can be distinguished from other cards in some cases, even when sleeved. No, we'll talk about EMEA in a second, Jai. How is this news to anyone? Because this is something that like I noticed at Worlds. That was the first time getting my hands on these sort of prize supports. And there's a problem. I think there's actually a pretty big problem here. It's super sweet that FFG is not FFG. Wow, NSG is replacing stuff. So our plan is to send a replacement cards for all those prizes over the course of the year, primarily through this year's event kits. That's wild. I don't fully understand what this means. But from my understanding, it means that like if you just go to a tournament kit, it'll be like, did you win this last year? Here's your prize support. Go pick it up, and you don't have to win it again. That's my understanding. Because in short, a bunch of these cards have to be replaced. And NSG so far has not said anything official whether the cards that you won a world championship are tournament legal or not. Currently, they're tournament legal, and I'd argue that they shouldn't be. And I'll show you in a second, because there's a reason they're replacing them. And for those who haven't seen it, it's pretty stark. We are therefore planning to make extra replacements available this year at World Championship, Europe, Middle East, Africa, and Continental Championship. We're also offering postal replacements of prize cards from Worlds. This is what I have to do. And a lot of people, well, all the folks at Worlds have to probably do this. I would recommend you to do this. If you would like to have your cards replaced, please fill out this form with your shipping information. We'll send you replacements for standard and start prices you earned, as well as a playset of the Steelskin Scarring promo from the 2023 Continental Championships. So super cool that NSG is replacing this. I think that's sick. I have to fill that form out because for those who haven't seen it, it's pretty wild. And this is something that like I was interested to see if NSG was going to address, because I think it's something that you have to address on a tournament level. So for those who don't know, the card stock from a bunch of those prize supports are like totally different, and not slightly different, totally different. So just to show you what this means for those who haven't seen these cards, because it's again pretty wild. This is a standard NSG card from Make Playing Cards back in the day. It's printed on, I don't know, whatever normal card stock. And just check this out. This is like the normal bend you expect in a card, right? I'm working it, feels bad. that's how it is, right? Now, there's a bunch of other promo stuff. Like this isn't a Fantasy Flight Games card. It's an old MA. It's no different. It about feels the same. This is a hard thing to show on camera because it's more of a feel thing, but notice how much that bends when you put just about an effort into it before damaging it. And then some of the other promos FFG or wow, NSG's put out work totally fine, right? So this is Boomerang. This is Anoetic Void, same thing. The cards from Worlds. This is from Worlds. It's a no free lunch from Startup. It's so different. I can feel when I pick up a card from my deck that's single sleeved in opaque Dragon Shield sleeves that it is a prize support from Worlds. I can. It's a problem. There's no official rules on it from my understanding, but it's weird. I checked it too. These cards are actually heavier, 0.2 grams. It's not something you'll notice, but it's just the card stock itself. Like you can feel when you pick it up because it feels real loosey-goosey compared to this, which like is what you expect most of your cards to be like. I think Anoetic and Boomerang are part of kits to be replaced. I don't think it's everywhere though, because these are fine. If you ask me, this is like, there's clearly a difference between the cards I got at Worlds, which are nearly paper, versus this, which is still very close to this. Whether the Anoetics and the Boomerangs are getting replaced, I find that fascinating. I don't think I need a replacement because they don't feel that different than the other stuff. Boomerang and Anoetic already feel different to me. Whoa, okay. So I'm glad I picked those because those feel fine for me. But the World stuff feels super, super different. So it's at the point now where if I go to play with my World's prize support, I have to double sleeve them. And by double sleeve them, I mean double card them. Like I do this normal when I play Netrunner, is my whole deck has 2 cards in each sleeve, just because I don't have back bleed on sleeves. Who's doing QA in this? So I'm super stoked they're replacing it. I'm gonna have to apply for everything. I did commentary at Worlds, so I got a lot of prize support stuff. So that's all being replaced, which is absolutely sick. But for those who haven't seen, it's like, ask someone who's went to Worlds if you can see their cards, because it is like kind of wild. And I honestly think if I was at a tournament organizer and someone showed up with the World stuff single sleeved, I might ask them to replace it. Because I do think I can tell when I draw from their deck, when they draw from their deck, I can tell what I'm going to draw because the card stock is so different even in sleeves. So it's great that it's being replaced. I was interested to see whether something would be said on more officially, be like, hey, this is a problem, we have to change it. Love to know what the difference specifically is based on your demonstration. I'm guessing something with a card core. Yeah, I think in the article, Jeff wrote this, right? Yeah, Jeff wrote this. It's just the thickness of the card. It's something to do with the card stock. It's hard to tell because they're all about the same thickness, but it's just thinner, I think. What do people do about printer paper proxy card quality? I put a playing card behind it to match the thickness of the Netrunner card. Yeah, London, that's what everyone does, because I think the rules say that you have to do that. You can't just like put a slip of paper inside a sleeve. It has to be backed by a trading card, just so you can't distinguish the difference. At Worlds, again, even at the highest levels, people are playing with promos, which are, cards backed by paper. That's the standard way that NSG will do it for you. And that doesn't work. Like you can't take the no free lunch and put a card behind it because this is thicker than paper. And then you can tell this is way thicker than a proxy. It's actually the card core. Oh, Jeff, what does that mean? It's heavier, which is wild. Like I put this on the coffee thing. This is 0.72 grams. I don't think I could tell. I can't be like, oh, I picked up a Worlds promo, but it's really wild that it's somehow heavier but floppier. Also, I'm not officially making them illegal at this point, but there most likely will be at Worlds. Thus replacements being available. Okay, that's sick. Okay. The H1CO cards have a different problem than the Worlds cards. They're significantly thicker, not stiffer, just thicker. Oh, like the Boomerang? This does feel a bit thicker, maybe? Maybe? That one's hard to tell. That's the core, I was right. Yeah, that's really cool. Anyways, they're replacing it, which is sick. So I got to reach out into that. If you went to Worlds, get your stuff replaced if you can. That seems really, really important. Because the price support is sick. It's really, really cool. It's just a bummer that unfortunately, like some people might be like, I don't want to bring this to tournaments because it feels scummy. So hell yeah. Are we done playing for the night? No, definitely not. This is huge. Announcing the 2024 EMEA Continental Championships. So June 28th and 30th. Is going to be an in-person event in Bergamo, Italy during the weekend of June 20th and 30th. This is huge. So Continentals, there was one in-person Continentals last year. Mind you, firstly, the fact that these are happening earlier was something I think we were meant to expect. It's going to be organized by Etienne, hosted by Spazio Barresco, Supported by NSG Games. These are awesome. You can get your tickets now. So if you're in the area, go down to Italy. Italy's been running a lot of killer events. I hope it's the same team. They've been really, really doing great stuff from what I've seen so far. But that's awesome. This is really early. I think this is the earliest for an in-person registration on something like this, which is sick. So there'll be a Crown of Service type team tournament on Friday. Then on Saturday, it'll be double-sided Swiss. That's sick. There's also going to be 3 monthly online tournaments leading up to EMEA called Fly to EMEA to help players prepare for the tournament. There'll be non-NSG alt-arts offered as prizes, and the money raised in these tournaments will go towards helping players who need financial aid in traveling to EMEA. Think Run Together. To make sure you don't miss them, keep an eye on always be running in the upcoming tournament channel. Oh, I didn't realize Nick made this article. Oh, that's sick. That's really cool. That's stoked. That's sick. I think that's going to be a pretty big event. People can start planning around it now, which is awesome, but in-person play is an absolute treat. And I think people have been realizing that, how great it is. Seamless is so obviously different from normal cards. I almost feel bad playing them, even at weekly meetups. Shit, I only have them wrapped still. I'm not going to open these. I have my seamlesses somewhere. I didn't realize they were weird. DSS tournament spotted? Is it double-sided? Ah, beans, no! I don't like double-sided, but that's okay. It'll still be a good time. Day 3 Sunday will feature the top cut. Check that out. That's sick. Really well done. Ashes Remastered coming soon, 12th of February. That'll be soon, sooner than Arkham. Great. And then we're here, startup ban list. So, in short, startup finally got a ban list. This is from Orchid. Startup is our most accessible format as a small card pool, which appeals both to new players and to people who don't have time to figure out the complexities of standard metagame. Seen a lot of love from the community for this reason. However, with such a small card pool, there tend to be a small number of cards that warp the format in big ways. Amen. And it's always going to be that way. There's not that many card options. There's going to be one really good one. Not that shouldn't be a ban list. To address this, startup format panel elected to institute a ban list for the startup format. By banning 2 particularly format warping cards, we hope to make the startup environment more comfortable, both for newer players who are dipping their toe into tournaments for enfranchised competitive players. Nick has been one of the power ads on OP. Very grateful to the contribution. Oh, sick. Yeah, he's a local. He's like really picking up with organizing stuff in person here too. It's been really fun to watch. He's been doing a great job. Nice guy. We used to work together. This ban list would not have been possible without the work of the startup format panel. The panel has been a different membership each time it convened, and we'll be recruiting for the panel members again around 2 months after the release of part 2 of Liberation Cycle. That's sick. Still don't understand why Killing didn't get banned. It would have literally been perfect. They want to keep the ban list short. I think it was pretty clear from reading this article. There's explanations of the changes. We're not going to go too hard into these, but we're going to try and build a startup deck in a second. But okay, we'll read it. When it comes to cards that have been a big impact on startup as a format, there are none more infamous than Endurance. For those who are uninitiated for any reason, Endurance is an 8-cost console that gets power counters for making successful runs and use power counters to break ice subroutines. This card was really good in Standard, and it's been banned out in Standard now for, how long has it been? 7 months, 8 months, a year, more than a year, right? It won Worlds last year. It was in most of the techs in the top 16 last year. It got banned out shortly after that. And then in startup, there's no ban list, so it was still running rampant. Again, I'm not saying it was the only console in startup, but of course it's really good. Its ability to prey on weakly ice servers in the early game in combination with Shaper's tools for late game inevitability enable a deck that is good against most corp decks to score out behind ice. This forces corps to plan to do different stuff, fundamentally attack on a different axis. It's a card that's been dominating competitive startup for a long time, so we're confident that banning it will help the format's diversity. While not as notorious as Endurance, Drago is a card that can be very powerful against decks that are not prepared to deal with the massive economic pressure that he can put on. So Drago, again, similarly was banned just about the same time, if I'm not mistaken. Is this guy here, made by a European champion, Drago, and you use advancement counters on this, and you make those into tags, and then Drago does not trash himself, so he's still there. 2 tags is... Tags? How bad are tags in startup? It's probably just like really annoying because they just keep trashing your stuff. But yeah, this card was an absolute prison. Wasn't fun to play against. Wasn't fun to watch. There's a lot of decks that just did advance, give you a tag, punish you, go. Advance, give you a tag. And it was like not great. I think there's a lot to learn with the design of Drago. I think it's cool that there's cards that are advanceable that are not agendas. Like, it's really interesting. I think if this card trashed itself, there's just something that would make this a bit more palatable. But unfortunately, there's a lot of really obnoxious play patterns around this card itself. Well, not as notorious endurance, Drago is a card that can be very powerful against decks. Read this. Okay, Drago has been a dominant force in competitive startup and another card with confident banning. There's certainly other cards we've considered banning from startup due to the power or the potential for creating negative play experiences. However, we decided to keep the ban list to just these 2 cards for a few reasons. This is the main reason. There's definitely other cards that are currently legal in startup that are banned in standard. Cards like Vengeance Keeling, cards like Nanocivic Grid. I think those are the 2 big ones that come up to mind. But yeah, there's something definitely being said that there still has to be some consideration to make startup as accessible as possible. I think people could argue that like, oh, it's a ban list. Having a ban list of 2 cards versus 3 cards versus 4 cards is not a big difference, because at the end of the day, someone still has to look up a ban list if they want to play an organized play. So you've already made the hill, well, slowly make the hill taller. And like at some point you have to put your foot down. The question is when, and the answer here was 2 cards. Mind you, this ban list is really fascinating too, because the Borealis cycle, which is where these 2 cards are coming from, are going to be rotating out of startup format post haste in like less than 2 months when the new set comes out. So this is going to be a really short ban list, but it is the first time that there's been fundamental ban list change in the startup format, which is pretty notable because now a precedent has been set. I'm pretty sure we're going to see very, very few cards, and there's a chance that this might be the biggest ban list startup we'll ever see. And maybe in the future, there'll be 1 card targeted, half a card targeted, something like that. But I'm pretty sure it's going to get better than this for sure. Let me catch up on chat. Personally, I'm more surprised Nanocivic survived rather than the Keeling, but I might be alone in my corners. Concerns over Nanny up. I'm glad I actually took the step for startup, even if it's mostly for show, given the cards rotate in a couple months. I know a lot of people who are interested in getting to Netrunner, but find standard too daunting and were turned off by hearing startup was bad at the moment. Yeah, I'm very interested to hear about the folks who say startup is bad, myself included, who's played no startup. And I think the narrative is going to change now, right? Because if you ask me, if you're getting into Netrunner, and this is also going to fundamentally change in about 7 or 8 months whenever Dawn comes out, assuming it comes out later this year, right? Is that I still wouldn't recommend getting into startup. I think if you're new to the game, you can pretty much go, and again, soon it'll be much easier when there's no FFG cards in the card pool, but I would still recommend, now that startup has a ban list, to try out standard sooner than later, just because there's more interesting things you can do in standard with a wider card pool. Sure, startup's now a comfortable place to be for a bit, for sure. I think you can hang out, but if people say like, oh, I'm getting to Netrunner, I would not recommend going to get a whole card pool, but I'm still probably going to be a person that recommends like trying out standard sooner than later and just picking up a deck and going with it. Because again, the size of the card pool is not as big as it looks. You don't need to proxy everything, but at least startup is now something that's a bit more defensible, which is great. Well, I understand that it feels for show given the timing of the system now in place and the panel will be meeting earlier in rotation for next set. Yeah. Half a card target, you may play the left half hand half of Kurapira. You can play Shibboleth before threat. All the mentions of barriers are on the right half though. Yeah, but you can't spend any credits. That's the fun part, right? All right. So with that being said, I don't know what startup is. Do you want to build a startup deck? I'm worried that we're not going to find a startup player in like at 1047. But I want to see what it looks like, because this is what's the good thing about startup is that if you make a startup deck, I'll play against you perfect, Lucille. So I'm going to build a runner deck and we're going to build something pretty straightforward. We're going to hit startup. You're going to notice your options close down. They should close a fair bit more. Mind you, startup is going to get a fair bit smaller at the next rotation where we lose a lot of cards. Andre's about to dunk on some noobs. I don't think so. There's a big chance. Like last year when I played startup, my win rate is bad because I did not know the startup meta, right? Like my fundamental skills were good, but I was actually had a really bad, like a very noticeable dip in win rate between startup and standard because I just didn't know what people were doing. And it was like catching up with me. So I want to play criminal and we look at the criminals. All the criminals are relatively playable, which is great. I think Zaya and Sable make a lot of sense, but this is where it's going to be really fun. Let's just start with Sable. So if we do collection and we go startup, I think the ban list won't be in here, but that's okay. We just don't play the cards. This is what's really nice is like, these are all the criminal cards. It's not a lot. And like, we can go through this and this is what we will be doing is we're going to be going through the list and basically considering every single possible card. Career Fair. Sure. It's good enough. Carpe Diem. Yeah. Feel like we don't have a lot of economy in the format. We're going to play every econ card that makes some amount of sense. Chrysopian Skimming. Nice try. Nice try. Emergency and Forged. We'll consider them. Inside Job. Yeah. We'll play 2. We might want to play 3. There's no boomerangs in the format. This is a nice way to cheat around ice. I have no idea what the format looks like. Legwork. Or would we rather play something that's a bit more plugged in, like Wake and Plant, Docklands Pass, Twinning? Maybe. You can set the ban list for startup whenever you do, where you do for standard rotation. I just don't know if they've added it. I don't think they've added it. Yeah. But it's easy. We just don't play endurance, right? Mutual favor, yeah, we'll play 2. Networking, Pinel, we'll play 2. Reprise, Estabrado, Tread Lightly. Great. We got to the end of the list. That's it. We already had 12 cards. Not too bad. And it should be relatively that easy. Dirty Laundry 3X. Overclock. I don't honestly know. And this is where like I don't know because I don't know what's like good enough for startup or like what sort of problems are being presented to you on the corp side. I see startup ban list in the dropdown. Wait, actually? Oh yeah, it's right here. It says startup. Sorry, it looks like it says standard. You can't see my dropdown menu, so I did not. I looked bad, but yeah, it is there. No, that's good. Okay. What else do we got? Play a Docklands Pass. Hermes is our console. We didn't want to play much else anyway, so that's fantastic. And we'll play 1 Wake and Plant. I don't know how good card draw is in the format. We have no class act. These are where things are going to get really interesting, where it's like, hey, I realize we don't have any of the card draw cards in the standard that we've been leaning on. I'm assuming we're going to play some amount of Nuka, but we don't have class act, which is huge. We have Earthrise Hotel, so that'll probably be enough for us. I don't think we need to play Zenith chip. Either twinning or deep dive. I'm more of a twinning gamer than a deep dive gamer. Okay, what are our breaker suite? Cheza, good enough. 2 might be a bit much, but I don't know if our economy is that good. What is our breaker suite? We can play something that's not too dissimilar to the deck that came in Second Worlds. Unity. Echelon. What's it called? Kripira, left side. That's probably enough. Is there any other program we need? That might be enough. Okay. Resources. We'll do neutral at the same time because again, this is why it's so easy. Like, look how many criminal resources we're looking at. So sec testing, no. Red team, yeah, we can play 2 maybe. No free lunch, we'll play 2. Info bounty, we can play 2. Backstitching Esmond, no thanks. And then we go to neutral, Earthways Hotel, I'll play 3. We have career for them. Smartware distributor, probably not, right? Verbal plasticity. Okay. So what are we missing? We haven't spent much influence. We have a reasonable breaker suite. I think we're in an okay spot. For what it's worth, Echelon and Unity are slightly worse without Turtle. Yes, I was wondering if we wanted to play like Tunnel Vision or something, but I still think they're pretty reasonable. But yeah, we definitely want a 4th breaker if we want to. That and Carmen is good for the influence. I like Echelon a fair bit, but again, I don't know what the killers look like, the sentries look like in startup, so I don't know whether there's a like we don't have to worry about drafter. That's kind of cool. Probably want duplicate breakers. You think there's just enough program destruction in the format? Like we have 2 mutual favor. I have no idea how trashy is the format. Like, do we need like 1 Shibi? You have Nin Op? What's that? Oh, Nana Civic Op? I guess so. Maybe 1 security testing, 1 info bounty. I don't like security testing. I think it eats a lot of your triggers in a weird way. But yeah, maybe. And then we can do like 1 Carmen if we want. Okay, twinning. We can play 1 or 2. We want passive economy. We don't have passive economy. So we can play Nukas, Fermenters. This seems like economy. People run Retribution and Stavka half run. Also Rota Turret. Great. All right. This seems fine. I don't think we have enough money. Oh, I put red team in the deck. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. That was an accident. That's a happy little accident. I don't know that we did that, but I generally okay. I think that's fine. This is probably not the worst. Is there any economy card that gives us like infinite econ? Buy with the last flip, baby. Ian, how's it going? Yeah, I like buy a fair bit, especially with like the fermenters. Maybe because I don't know how good the code gates are versus anything. Like we can cut Unity to play 3 buy bands. Smart distributor, but like you don't actually want that. Yeah, right. There's almost no recursion in the format, so destroyers are pretty good. Is there no recursion? Simulchip? No. Yeah, I guess so. But like, this is when he asked me, when you play standard or startup? It's just a less powerful version of the deck with more redundancy because it's hard. You don't have ways to deal with things. Katurga and test run, yeah, right? Like, we go away unity. Okay, so opening hand. Well, we'll roll some sort of mark. Great. Sure gamble. Sure draw. How many career fair targets do we have? Earthrise Hotel, Info Bounty, No Free Lunch, Red Team, Twinning. Not that many. Time to set Laser Beam Shine. Laser Beam is not bad. Katurga Retrieval, both don't work once you're locked out, so catch 22 there. Yeah, 2 breakers might make sense. It's ugly that it's like this, but it is like this. Sometimes the B like a B. This is probably fine. I think we can drop a career fair maybe. So this hand we'd mulligan. This hand we'd keep. We would dirty laundry our mark. Could be sick. Nuka. Draw 3. Fermenter. Revolver's better than laser pointer in IMO? Yes. Security red testing is one of the combos of all time. I honestly don't know how it works. Because it replaces your breach step. Like, okay, we'll do one security testing, one like this. Like, okay, something like that maybe. I think Hannah is really cool at sec testing. I haven't seen anyone played Hannah sec testing. That's just clicklessly 2 credits a turn. That seems kind of cool. Is there anything this deck is missing? Because I'm pretty sure it's like functional. I just don't know the format enough. So here we can dirty laundry, hopefully our mark. Maybe Chesva, Biobans, draw 2, use Chesva, install Earthrise. It's okay. That's bad. How many run events you got? Not a lot. Baya, Carpe, Dirty, Inside. Actually a fair bit. Debbie works at Twinning. I wonder if one Debbie's good enough. Like we do have actually a fair bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's like quarter of the deck. More than. I could see playing a Debbie. She's okay. She's fun. Like maybe we could cut a red team for a Debbie. Playing one Debbie seems weird, but whatever. I don't think working with Twinning is going to be that big of a deal. Like it sucks that we don't have a companion to set it up. Like we're going to be run based, but that should be fun. 2 NFLs is sus. I'm really worried about tag stuff, but there's a chance you're right. Without Drago, we don't need this. I'd imagine Reality Plus is probably pretty good in the format, and at a minimum, a click for 3 credit econ card is like totally fine for the format. I think we're cutting red teams to be cutting career fair. Yeah, that's true. I do like the red teams though. It seems like a lot of money. Okay, let's get one more good card in here. Sick. It's not good. That's not good, is it? Maybe a legwork. Time. That's what the threat ability in Debbie's for, to mitigate the 1 of downside. Yeah, I'm not gonna be so stoked about it. This can't be the right card. We just need to follow 1 card slot because you're right. Career fair is a bit strange. We just have 3 Earthrise, 1 red team, 1 Twinning. It's not great. Like 3rd Hermes kind of feels like overkill, but it's also quite good. Voice pad? Yeah, maybe voice pad's good enough. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's all of them, right? Besides mutual. 16 targets. E shutdown. I like E shutdown a fair bit too. This might be too slow. Overclock. I like... Overclocking criminal is like not very common. Maybe that's a startup thing here, but with Debbie, it's a bit better. It's just like overclock's really hard because you need your breakers down. I would add a 3rd killer. Are there that many sentries out there? Let's do that. All right, let's go. Jailbreak maybe? Oh, I like Jailbreak. Jailbreak's like a pretty vanilla card. I'm gonna try the Forged. Forged is nice. It lets us play around Op and Nanocivic and Zato, and not exactly Zato, but that's kind of cool, I guess. Sort of. I wouldn't bother, but there's so little Christian risk shooting is viable. I'll see what it's like. I have no idea. I'm not excited for rig shooting. I don't think rig shooting is that fun to play against, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, if that's the case, you can just run more programs. Like, this is the sort of thing where like having a smaller card pool is not exciting for me when you have less ways to deal with problems, and the ways are just like play the same copies of a dead card. Startup. This is a corp deck. I don't think rig shooting is fun to play against. Famous last words. I know. Tell me about it. But like, I wonder too, I feel like we're going to be at a point where corps are not going to have reacted to the loss of endurance fast enough. Right? So like, there's going to be a lot of people out there playing like something that's still really mean. That's really good into endurance, which might not be necessary. We saw this before in many other metas. It'd be like, this thing changed. And then people are still like, you know, playing decks that are designed to beat fermenter endurance or whatever. I think there's a chance the best target there is actually a third pinhole. I could see a third pinhole being sick. Like all the things that are coming up and being said are really, really good into third pinhole. Dummies, then there's a huge stigma against playing endurance, so people just would leave a game if you installed it. Is that bad? Why don't you just label your lobby? All right, we got our money up front. Mavirus is in the format, right? It must be. Hey, Ryan. So we have a Kurapira. There's no border control. This is where things are going to be really weird. It's like, I'm going to face check into op and be like, it can be this and this and this. And it's like, it can't be border control. So what can it be? Early Carpet DM, early red team, no card draw, good money. Kurapira is nice. There's no Sandstone. There's no Winchester. Like, what the hell is the ice suite for op? Use your method for op to instant install Nanocivic. Oh, it's 2 cost? Shit. This hand is like, I'm gonna keep it. Shouldn't. Ideally, we should have a 1 piece of card draw. We have 5 card draw cards, 5.5 in our deck. But like red team smash centrals isn't good. I like the hand. It's like if we had 1 card draw piece, it'd be so much better. Is the neutral card draw card good? The one from System Gateway for the format? We'll see. Hand is great, matchups cursed. Base action? Yeah, we're gonna basic action for sure. You don't gotta tell me. We're gonna basic action the hell out of this hand after we smash centrals. Yeah, I don't love double fermenter top for what it's worth. I'm assuming that there's still a good reason to play 3 Mavirus. Verbal plasticity is pretty solid. Is actually solid. Dan, how's it going? I believe it. If there's no Earthrise, I would definitely believe it. I would be like kind of believe it. Did Ryan mull? Ryan mulled. R&D's the mark. I'm just going to send it, right? Like nothing can hurt us here. I guess send it with this. Like, what are you going to do? Anvil us? There's Earthrise in 21 and people play that in not verbal. Yeah, I believe that. So this has to be program destruction and anvil. Extract off the top. Okay. Run HQ. Did they mull? He mulled. Like, what's the agenda suite? Like, I just don't know anything about the format. Like, I'm just going to play fundamentals not knowing the card pool. Like, there's no Afshar. There's no Winchester. It's a Hornum. Great. You res the Hornum. That is an annoying ice to break. Kimberlite? Oh, yeah, that's a gross one. No SDS? Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm going to keep drawing. I'm going to install a Fermenter or an Earthrise. I think we'd rather have the card draw. Because we can dirty laundry out of this hole. We don't need the Fermenter. Agenda should be 10 2x pointers and Kimberlite. Yeah, who has 3-pointers in the format? Wait, are there any 3-pointers in the format? Vulnerability audit doesn't exist. SDS doesn't exist. Shit, wait, are there 3-pointers in the format? Wait, this format's sick. There's no 3-pointers. Send a message. Oh, of course. Of course, of course. So let's see what 3-cost ice is good here. Honestly, don't know. That Hortum seemed really good. Fuji and Jinteki, is it that few? This card is undercosted for how good it is. I'm going to do a video talking about ice by budget. This card's actually undercosted. Give us Archives Mark. R&D. Okay. Well, we can't dirty laundry it because he'll res. Salvo testing? Oh, hell yeah. Second Hornum. All right. So we can't install red team here. So we're just going to continue to set up. We have mutual favor, which is okay. Double fermenter is a bit much. I would agree with mass being undercosted if Cleaver didn't exist. Yeah. So I'm making a video about this whole ice by budget thing, which is something that came to me kind of while I was fevered out one night and couldn't sleep. But the idea is that there's math actually that's pretty strict for Netrunner ice that tell you what the ice should cost based on strength and subroutines, barring some other factors. And this is one of the ice that's slightly undercosted. I'm just gonna do credit fermenter. We're gonna need money because they're gonna drop something behind this. So I'll have to mutual favor. Hopefully draw an inside job would be sick. Yeah, Cleaver is probably the most common factor in the format. I can't imagine anything else. All right, hedge fund, good. Esgrove has the same problem that pretty much non-meta Crim run card has, is that it's really good but less optimal for the strength and cost of most other Wayland barriers. In startup though, is that true? All right, HQ is the mark. So we can like, here I want them to res. I want to run server one. Clear group here are pretty much the only factors in the format, but like they're actually the only factors in the format period, right? So we want to force a res here. I guess losing fermenter would suck. Because I know I can inside job, but I want him to res before we inside job it. It's a tree line. Okay, that's another 3 credit res. This is a good 4-coster. So this thing is clearly worth protecting. So I will challenge it. We just need to get our breakers down. It's a regolith. That's really important that we trash that. So they must have agendas in hand. So next turn we'll crack fermenter for 6. Ideally run Archives Mark. That would be kind of nice. Then we do mutual favor for Kurapira. Break for 4. Ugh. Kurapira's gonna suck into this matchup. At least we have double chets already. This feels like I built a Sunset Corp, but with worse ice. That regular sticking seemed really important. This is why I think 3 pinholes seems pretty good. Oh, they have good money. Okay. So, action. They can purge. But otherwise, we'll take 6. We'll go to 8. Archives is the mark. We can run Archives. If we do red team, run Archives, we're down 2 credits. So in theory, we should crack the fermenter first for sure. Then we can run Archives for free. Oh, we have the Kurapira in hand. Wait, why? Why would we mutual favor it? Monkey. We can do Kurapira, run HQ. Seamless Kimberlite would maybe be a problem. Chesva, buy it, install. It's a bit expensive, right? Like we're paying 4 cheap at the Kurapira and then we use the Chesva. In theory, we should use the Chesva running HQ. Because like they've gone through a lot of cards and we haven't seen an agenda yet. Red team buy it bans Archives. Red team doesn't work with run events, which is bad for our deck. So you can't really do it. Because you have to spend a click on it, right? I think here we could do like Kurapira Chesva. We go down 5 credits, so we're at 3. We run this. We do boost. Break, get an access. Not a sick access. We really need a red team to do something. I think we do red team here. Unfortunately, if it's a Hermes, like it's not a good Hermes turn. Yeah, it's not a great Hermes turn. I wonder if we crack that too soon. We could show the Hermes here. We're not drawing. Putting on the Chesva, not using it is cursed. If that's the case, we will do Chesva buy bans. This stinks. So we'll draw 2. Install a card paying 1 fewer. So we only slightly use the Chesvo. No free lunch is nice. Click for 3 credits button. That's okay. It's good enough. They score out and above the law and trash a red team. We will cry. But it feels like we're just playing a less well-oiled standard criminal list. Now, if they spend a whole turn scoring on like an Aziev here, losing the Kurapira is okay. So this is a Nana Civic or something, right? Or a Zato. Right, like this is what I don't know. What the hell is that in this format? What the heck is this? What is this, y'all? Archives is the mark. That's sick. I'd rather red team than dirty laundry, I think. Yeah. Every meta is like the fire meta. Yeah, it kind of is, huh? So here we can do Kurapira, goes down to 2 credits. We can crack Fermenter. Fermenters weren't amazing. Managram Splash isn't uncommon. Angelique exists. Okay. Run HQ. There has to be an agenda in these 2 cards. Then Hermes can do something. 120 might be too low considering how bad our card draw is. That makes sense. That's a good one to get. So we'll bounce a card. We could go back. It's a bit expensive. Dirty Laundry helps a lot. I think we will. Extract. Okay, so that's the unknown card. Cool. They could still have an agenda in there. But now they have to deal with centrals. Whoredom is relatively safe for a while, right? Like Unity doesn't deal with it too well. We'd have to do boost, break. We'd give them a credit probably. Mind you, we can always give them 2 cards with Maskarovka. 2 is a nice number though. We don't want to give them 2 if we can avoid it. But our card draw stinks. We definitely want more card draw. I do think probably playing more. What's it called to be good? What 2-cost dice is going to be good here? That's not real. They didn't jam the card in hand too. Oh, it's Tucana. Yeah, it could easily be Tucana. So we can get out of this with mutual favor, no matter what they produce. Second Chesva coming down, yeah, it'd be really good. Not at all. So looks like I can't imagine the Maskarovka being bad for them. Like it's expensive for us to break. There's actually a chance that the second Chesva was better than the Dirty Laundry on that return run. It's not credit positive, but it's like we spend 2 to gain 2 from it. It's like comparable. It might have been right to put that down and go because we're going to get it down for sure. But we need to be spending a lot of clicks drawing. So they don't jam to this remote server, right? And still, they've gone through 17 cards. If we're assuming they're on 18 agendas, or no, sorry, wow, 10 agendas. That's more interesting. Second Chesva pays itself off very quickly. Yeah, exactly. Enigma, nice. R&D is wide open. It'll be a mark. Shit. Okay. If he hits an E-chip right now, would have given you a draw last turn. Just saying. Yeah, it would have been good. It would have been good. So running this last click is now good. So this is really annoying with Unity. It's really annoying with the other one as well. The problem is understanding what to get from the deck because we are 1 score away from Shibboleth being ass. Draw. That's good. We want to keep the pressure on though. So we'll red team R&D. Red teams actually seem great. Hedge. That's a good draw for them. We can't really pressure the money. We could do Nuka draws, not great. We don't want to die to Aziev, so we don't want to install 3 cards. We won't. I think just playing no free lunch here is fine. We can mutual favor for a breaker. But then if they like seamless out, they could have done it last turn to kill one of our breakers. I don't think we need to. I think I'll install this. I think we don't die to Aziev Angelique because they're off of threat. I love red team. It's so often bad. When it's good, it feels awesome. It forces you to like pressure them, which is sick. Right? Like I was thinking about that when Sunset. It was like my corp decks aren't that great at resing ice. Like just put down red team. It feels good. Okay, so they drew a card when back in the server, advanced the innermost one, while R&D is wide open. So we don't have any draw, like, multi-axis burst here. Okay. So HQ, unfortunately, is the mark. So we want to run R&D. We want to get a breaker. We make one run on HQ. We bounce the advanced card. Otherwise, we're going to get Kimberlite, and we're going to lose one of these. It's going to be bad. But this will steal an agenda. Just kidding. It was a joke. Shibboleth or Unity? I like these Shibboleth. It's cheap. So we can run HQ here. We technically only have to break one subroutine Enigma, which is sick. We'll get the click back after. And they definitely have an agendas in hand. We know an extract in hand. And I think that's it. I didn't use the Chesa, it's fine. We'll use it on the next one. This is a misclick, but it's fine. We do want to break all of it because of this. Use an extract to turn Hordem to Enigma. Yeah, but they saw, whoa, that was the second extract. Did they have 3 extract? Because I think we saw 2, maybe 3. Seems good. As Yef, bounce that. We don't have enough multi-axis. That put him off a turn. I'll get the sec testing down. Our money's not stellar. It was after he saw one in hand. Okay. My tracking's bad. I'm a bit dizzy still. I'm still foggy. I'm not in a great spot. But the security testing's nice. But we've been pulling them off. If you want to go more in on career fair, you could replace the fermenters with liberated counts. Yeah, that's like a big choice, is liberated counts versus fermenter versus even Teleware contract. I think is totally fine, as much as you don't need the what's it called on that. So like, I don't know what the server is. We'll see Sable first. Sable's on HQ, so we want to run this last click. Can't face check into this because of Stavka half run, but it's more likely to be a Maskarovka. So we'll just have a click for archives button. Okay. So in here, this is why we play Forged, because we can Forged R&D. We still don't have enough multi-axis. Yo, Cephalopod, how's it going? We don't have enough multi-axis, but here, this is why Forged is good, because we can Forged R&D and see what it is. We want to run HQ. That'll be one of our clicks this turn. So I think we do Sure Gamble Chess or just run HQ. And then last click, we can run archives what we want for 2 credits. I don't know if a click for 2 credit here is that great. Oh, now this costs 2. Ah. We probably should have just gone for Unity. The shelf life was so bad. God, this sucks. Oh, no. Shibboleth's bad in every format. Who would have thought? With envelopment, Kurapir is worth keeping around. 4 is a lot, though. I mean, okay. I'm just gonna run archives. They're doing great. We're just playing our value engine, getting single accesses. And mind you, they probably are on a bunch of 2-point agendas on like all 10 of them, and they've gone through 26 cards. Sorry, they've gone through 23 cards. Like some of these are just gonna be agendas. R&D. Okay. So, what is this? I'm assuming it's not going to be good for us. It's not an Anna-Civic. Could be, sort of. Zato's only remotes. So, Managarm or Chrysium or something? Okay. I'm going to forge this. You res it or it gets trashed. Show me a Maskarovka. That's a Maskarovka. Okay, fantastic. So here we can draw once for a run event. That's worth playing. Mind you, run R&D is free. We might as well play the Gambos first so we have house money to work with. I think it's likely to be a Chrysium. Is this startup? Yeah. I think we can give them the credits off Maskarovka. The thing is, like, it's free with Chesva, and we need to break all subroutines for Kurapir to get its power counter, so... There's a Stavka. This is where the game's going to get interesting. So we have a click for 2 credit bound on archives. I think it's more important for us to draw cards. Mind you, we have 13 credits with this. Here they might have a scoring window. That's 1 click too late. Paradise Hotel is really good. We'd love to have started with it on the table. Our next turn. Tucana, they're gonna score something. In theory, we should interact here if it's no free lunch. It looks like it's an SDF, but if it's, sorry, and above the law, we can crack the no free lunch, it's fine. But it looks like it's going to be 2 damage. Losing the echelon's not great. That's worth keeping in mind. You want to install your cards. But let's see what they do. We don't have anything great to bounce. We can bounce the Chrysium. They can pre-res it. We also can consider flushing this ice and flushing the server. If we flush the server, they don't have that server. That's a problem for them. And we run the server for free. So ideally we keep the Echelon and Kurapira. Or Earthrise we get too. So let's see what they get from their deck. So it's a Regolith, so we just probably should trash that. Oh, we kept their Echelon, that's good. We lost their Earthrise, that's bad. Like, we don't want to give them 15 credits. I just don't see how they use the money. There's an envelopment, so we choose an unresed card to go back to hand. So I think it's probably the most responsible thing to flush. I don't know whether this Chrysium Grid is telling us something. HQ is free to run, right? Like this is free, this is bypass. Removing the Chrysium Grid is okay. We can also just flush this ice and take the server down, which like, I don't know how they win if we just deal with the board. I can't tell what's right here. I'm assuming it's a Chrysium Grid. Sometimes letting them have more ice is bad. HQ's the mark. That's a bummer. So this will bypass, and then we'll try and trash this whole board. If they Zato the tree line, there's nothing unfair they can do, right? Because this is our last Kurapira. No, I don't think there's anything unfair they can do. We'll draw once for Econ. That's not necessary, but that's good for HQ. We can run R&D for free for 2 credits, but we might as well. And charging the Kurapira, it's technically better than archives. We should move that. Zato into Nemini Sicko. Yeah, that'd be pretty wild. But yeah, in theory, if we put the sec testing here in R&D, we can charge the Kurapira while getting 2 credits instead of running archives. I'm just going to deal with the table. If you pinhold, you can use the Cheswa credits. Oh, that's true. But I want to deal with everything. We can pinhold the Regolith. I don't think we will, though. Like, I think we just run archives for 2. Unknown first to Zato. Let's not deal with that. Tucana for 1. Okay. Run server 2. Deal with that. Run archives. Gain 2. Yeah, I think I like a Liberated in this deck. Like, we're playing control. We just don't have enough multi-access. Like, having a twinning built up here would be sick. But unfortunately, we're trying to win off singles. We've seen 8 points. They've gone through more than half their deck, though. So there's probably one more in HQ. This envelopment will fall apart, and then what are they going to get? 4 cost? A Hornum? We haven't seen Spin Doctors yet. Those are going to be annoying. We've seen a Stavka in hand. Okay, so this is Stavka half run stuff. If that's the case, Inside Job deals with it. Sable. HQ still? Huh. Liberate Creeper always feels great. Yeah, it feels really good. So, we can run R&D for free, get an access. We all want to Inside Job this. This is a Stavka, and there's a 3-coster in here. Inside Job. When the runner encounters this ice, it's our turn, so that we won't encounter the ice. We'll Inside Job it. So there's definitely a Zato in there. We need to have enough money for that. If there's an agenda in there, we can pinhole archives to see what's in server 1. We can check if it's a Zato. If this is a Crisium, right? Like 4 costume to Crisium. Like, it has the teeth of parts of standard. It's just like, oh, okay, Stavka Hafron will win the game. This is where having like a flip switch. Well, you can't in this format. But yeah, having a revolver or having the other one would have been good. Not that we have a killer installed yet. Okay, so I think we can run R&D for a single here. We can run archives. We can inside job. The single is more important because we want to get through this tree line for free if we can. Mind you, if they do res a Stavka, it's pretty expensive for them. Tithe, that's annoying. That's a really good ice for them. Okay, click for 2 credit button. So I think we can inside job heal be down on 8 credits. We could do credit first. Yeah, I'll consider it. But Zato shouldn't hurt us here because we bypass. So they probably don't res this. We still have to deal with Stavka Hafron, so dealing with the Crisium will deal with it. I don't know if they res this. Maybe we didn't need to get the, what's it called? I think they're going to put the tithe on archives. We also have to pressure HQ to some extent because they have slash and burns. So those are going to hold up in HQ. I wonder if there's some weird combo that we died to Angelique. Yeah, here they're figuring it out. They res the Stavka, so this gives them flexibility. We shouldn't have done this on last click, arguably. Cool, so that's an agenda probably. So they did 1 Stavka so far. I need to crack the no free lunch first. I'm assuming this is going to be 3, and then what's the trash cost in Zato? 3 as well? Okay. That's fine. I should have accessed the other card first. Tukana. Looks like I was an agenda in there. So here's where Spin Doctor's going to show up. But hey, that's 1 Stavka down. Eventually, we are still going to have to break it for 2 credits. Like, the server is annoying. So Spin Doctor, server 3. They don't have a lot of money. That's the 3rd Regolith. Seems like it's just an absolute force in this format. You just need Regolith. Because, like, what do you do for econ? That's a tithe. Great. So, Sable, archives, great. So we need to get some accesses. We need to run HQ here. Kurapir letting a fire and getting the 4 cost out of their deck helps running R&D. It makes it easier to run R&D. This thing is annoying. We have emptied it. We're going to be running R&D every turn. We'll put this on archives. We're going to drop a wee bit here. We need money. Would we rather have Carmen or Echelon in this matchup? I think we'd rather have Carmen, as long as we install it for 3. Draw for a run event? That's not good. So if we run archives, we're pretty sure it's a tithe. If it's a Stavka, though, we're like cooked. So I don't know if we can risk that. I don't think they put a Stavka on archives. If they did, they win the game. I'm going for it. This is risky. This is way riskier than how far ahead we are, but I'm pretty sure that's a tithe. Yeah, fine. We want to lose anything, really. Pinhole? Nice. Does this force a spinhole? Is there a reason why we didn't sec test R&D? Because we want the access. Oh, I thought that would shuffle. It doesn't. Forgot about that. Yeah, we want the access. R&D gets pretty dense. Can't be a tithe because they got the op trigger then shuffled? Oh my god, you're right though. Yeah, you're right. If you have 2 Sentry Breakers, you can't be locked up by Stavron. We still will be because we can't break. Like, even 7 strength is just too much. So here we run R&D for free. I think we get the Echelon down. We'll get the Carmen down. Wait, did you not take net damage? Yeah, we lost the Pinhole. We took it 1 net damage. We had a Pinhole threading. 2 sentry breakers and a Nuka. Another Stavka? Great. Okay. So I do think there's an agenda in archives, and that's Spin Doctor's protecting it. I forgot that we didn't pressure it because sec testing replaces the access step, so they didn't shuffle. A lot of people will flinch and miss that, myself included, it seems. But yeah, that's an old school interaction. So they didn't put any more ice on the table. That's good for us. We should run HQ here because they're setting up a slash and burn from hand. So we definitely want to set up HQ. So Sable is on R&D. So if we run R&D, that's going to be all our money here. Unfortunately, this has 1 subroutine that's relevant. Otherwise, it becomes a 4-coster. So we need to go HQ this turn if we can. That's where the agenda should be here. Because we've gone through a lot and we've only seen 8 points. There's 16 cards left in R&D. So the question is where we go with this thing. We can put this on server 3. If we run it and they trash it, so be it. I guess we can't contest it. We need to make sure we have 2 cards in hand here. I think we cracked the no free lunch for money. But if we want to deal with this thing, we have to break for 5. So it's functionally 1 credit, which we could do here. If they Crisium, it's fine. Is the other Stavka in archives? Jam, how's it going? We've seen they have 1 in hand and 1 on the table. I don't know if there are more. We're playing startup. I don't know how many Stavkas the deck runs. With the card pool, I imagine you have an op. I'm pretty sure you should play 3. Even some players in standard play 3. And we can force the shuffle with the Spin Doctor, otherwise we get 2 credits. But we definitely should be running HQ here. I'll draw 1s for a Carpe Diem. That's sick. Do we Carpe Diem this turn, though? I don't think we do. Disconnected from server? Wait, who did? No, we're fine. Did it for a second? It does that. So running HQ again, we need a boost 4. We want to break all of it. So that's 2 credits from pocket. That seems fine. But I think running HQ is good. We have no multi-X, which is a bummer. If we draw with Nuka, it's a bit too late. We should have done that first click, if anything. Because we have no like burst access here besides the Docklands. But we have to make an access here. I don't know what this is. If it's Angelique, it's okay. They res a... Oh, it's a Managarm. Nice. So we can't trash it, which sucks. I'll spend 2 clicks. This has to be the winning run. Yeah, nice. Good game. They have to have a lot of points in there. That's just like where the agenda is. A lot of people get discouraged from HQ. Thanks to game. Let the trash sub fire. We'd rather not. Maybe we could. But we want to charge the Kurapira. And so paying an extra credit to charge the Kurapira is a steal. Like the difference between spending 5 and spending on 6 on this with 4 coming from pocket. It's not that big of a deal. Only 1 now, but it was like 4 early on. Bummer. Yeah, the inside jobs are really good because it forced the awkward Stavka res, but like just Hammer Central's the problem is we just don't have enough money. Wild to not put the Managarm in their remote server. Yeah, they did it many turns ago though, where I think they thought they had a secure server. I agree with that though. It's strange. This would have been really good though, because if we bounce off of it, like we spend 2 clicks doing it, then next turn, I don't know if they push in their remote server, but we've seen 10 points and like there's only 16 cards left in R&D. So the density on R&D is always really high in op because you have to remember every time they take a card out of R&D with op, it's not an agenda. So the agenda density goes up. Yeah, I think so. Thanks for the game. All right, we'll do another. What have we learned? Card draw bad. Card draw is actually really not good. Our economy's not great either. Let's get the fermenters out of there and just play Liberates and put some more career fairs on there. Just play slow. How did they even win that game? Seems like they could keep you out of anywhere with the credit poor. Us making a mistake into some amount of upgrades, going fast enough, and or fast advancing. Like they have slash and burns. They have ways to get out. We with slash and burn too, we should respect the Spin Doctor. We should actually go out of the way to trash it. So we'll do career fair. We'll do liberated 2. Info bounty would have been better than sec testing. Welcome back. Been a few days. Yeah, I've been quite sick. Me and my partner got really sick last week. We were out for a long time. Thanks. Maybe swap Nuka for Diesel? I don't know, maybe. I think that's the easy consideration. I think this Debbie doesn't make sense. I just want more money. Like it's 3. Like now we have Red Team, Liberated, Earthrise. We have good career fair targets. Nuka's good with with career fair because like it's a good card that you can do like draw 6 and then find something. We'll try that. Cut 2 Liberty for Hana and Baya. I don't think we have enough money. I think I would consider cutting Unity for Baya, but like Shibboleth sucks. I think you need Unity. Shibboleth is really, really bad. I think there's a chance. I don't know how like Mavirus pilled the format is, but like Buzzsaw and then Leech is like classic criminal stuff too, which is pretty good. Like the idea that you run archives, you get a Leech counter on top of your free stuff seems sick. Got a piece out. Thanks for streaming. Help get Wesleyan. Thank you, Jai. Take care, eh? Enjoy your weekend. All right, Lucille. The day after break in MIC playing 7 with Shibboleth is the day I decided it's binder fodder. Yeah. Oh, Epiphany. Cool. Lucille was talking about how Epiphany is cool in the format. We'll see. It might be. I don't know what it does. Tesla and Leech fight for the same MU slots though. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Soldier on. Best of luck. Have fun. So this is an important matchup to get your economy up. We have Dirty Laundry, Info Bounty. That's a good start. Hermes is like kind of okay. I don't know what the agenda suite in this deck is. What is the agenda? Crypto Crash? Like there's no Bolognas. It's like sunset out here. A red team would be nice for Central's pressure. I think the Info Bounty is enough for us to be happy. It gives us Central pressure on Big Beal. I'll keep this. It always has way too little card draw. And H isn't starved, so I can't really see a reason to play Epiphany personally. Lucille really likes Epiphany. That's the reason. I'd argue, yeah, probably NEH for now is going to be a better option, but yeah. For what it's worth, the 2-pointers agenda suite's like really hard for the corporation. Gonna show startup maneuver. Oh no. I don't know what that means. Is it triple ice all? Strongest R+ fan versus the weakest Epiphany enjoyer? Is it leave HQ open against criminal? Because you can do it in the format? No doof? That's fine. I don't think doof's that big of a deal. All right. So this is the safest way to Dirty Laundry. Ideally, you wanted to check the table. Cool. I don't know what we have to trash here. Like, I generally don't know what's a must trash. Did she keep? I wish these were in slightly different color. Or had a symbol next to them. These are really important. Everyone looks in the chat log for those. Kept. Okay. Hermes go. It's not that important. You got to trash the Federals. Yeah, I think trashing the Federals is important. I like to be able to trash 2 things here. So we're going to try and trash 2 things. Just so we're not bleeding 1 Epiphany a turn. Sansan, that's not a real card. Can't afford that. Yeah, I have to get rid of that. I'll draw. We need more cards. We can't win with this hand. So they have 1 Epiphany trigger. I don't know what the ice is. Like, that's another thing. I literally don't know what the ice is. I'm assuming like VSA and like Starlit Night, ping. What are the must trashes against NBN and standard? Federal fundraising is a problem. They can have the one that reveals cards for 2 credits usually. Rashida, Regolith, Sayu. Don't trash the Behold. Install then look. Okay. They didn't want the information soon. They wanted it eventually. So this is some good card. Funhouse. Yeah, Funhouse, I'm glad. DBS. I don't know if you play you probably do play DBS. DBS and Epiphany seems like a bit much. All right. Carpe diem. I mean, it's like quickly sleep 5 credits. I'm gonna do it. This is the thing, is you just trash multiple cards in a turn and you give them 1 Epiphany counter and it's like a bad NEH. Oh, it's Behold, so it's a trap deck. I'm not gonna trash that. What can they do with tags? Like I don't know what tags do in the format. Like we're gonna lose to Check a Scion or something. All right, you got another Epiphany counter. But you don't have money. End of the line? Yeah, we could die to public end of line out of nowhere, I guess. Retribution, yeah, Retribution's pretty good. Get us an Archives mark, R&D mark. Okay. VSA would be pretty bad here. R&D was iced up with priority. I kind of want a 2 credit button, but I don't think we need it. So this is Behold, and this is San. Ugh. Ugh. I just wanted money. VSA is fine to face check. We don't want the tag. Taking a tag and losing credit is pretty bad face check. It's generally not a good face check. Oh, we get the 2 credits back though. Yeah, F it. Should have done it sooner in the turn. They know what the top of the deck is. It's a bladderwort. They can draw that, no problem. I think we can draw once and put the Hermes down. Cheza's really good. It helps us contest centrals. I'd rather have the Hermes down. Not worth the inside job. No, we generally don't inside job centrals. At some point, she'll push on the table. But we'll inside job centrals when it like matters. But like she knew what the top of the deck was, so it's not a great inside job. She probably won't res. You get chukers and the click back? Yeah, 100%. That's why it's good. She also didn't res there on 3. She knew what it was. But Epiphany's from anywhere, right? Okay, so she epiphanied. Like the next best thing we could get down here is our sec testing. I'm guessing it's a funhouse. I think it more likely would be a starlet. Funhouse is not a bad guess. So that's probably the bladderwort. Archives of the Marksic. Okay, we're set up. Sorry for blowing into the microphone twice, but cool. So look how I have to do extra steps to become NEH. Balanced coverage. That is 2 credits a turn. Money's not good. As long as Chesba go down to 5, I guess like at some point we'll be oppoed. She has a bladderwort in hand. Was that an epiphany card? I think it was. So that's probably a bladderwort. I didn't pay attention that was an epiphany card. Okay. HQ. Carpe diem. Probably an agenda in here, and we'll get a mark. The agenda's also gonna be 2 cards down. Like building up a twinning really eats epiphany. Yeah, okay. So that's sick. End the run. So just run server 6 for server 7. Trash. Trash. Just a grind. Just credit. Just keep her money up. Just the grind. This is where like NEH is fun too, because it pushes either player to a win condition a bit faster. Or to a lose condition when you flood up. Your choice. Grudge work, but now yellow. I know. Like all we should do is just hit the table, clear credit, right? She can't fire Behold here. R&D is the mark. I guess we'll start there. She definitely has some agendas in hand. We should inside job Funhouse. Once we're feeling good. Yeah, we don't want her to draw that. We've already trashed, so we can trash this. It's a federal, it's gone. Draw, just keep getting money, please. Just credit, right? Like all we want is 2 econ cards. And then just not roll HQ mark. At some point, like maybe she'll get enough money to threaten Sansan. That's 8 credits just to get 2 points, like blank 2 points. HQ's the mark. Fuck. Draw. She can't fire Behold here. Maryland. Probably need to trash that. Not the biggest priority. That's more important. Spin. Okay. So we trashed 1 card. Wake seems hard to get value from. Yeah, I don't know, y'all. This is not fun. I don't feel like anyone's making great decisions. Like, this is going to take us another half an hour. No joke. Start up, I can't. Oh man, okay. Let's run R&D. I can't believe there's been no agendas. What was shuffled back with spin? Balance cover spin doctor. Wow. It's a deck on send a message. Oppo. Okay, first one we've seen. So we have to deal with all the econ. She has on behold money. I don't think we have to deal with server 12 anymore. We'll just get rid of this Maryland. If she shuffles, she doesn't draw into the Oppo. Yeah, at least you don't have to spend an extra 10 credits to win. Yeah, I know. That's sick. We don't need paper Bologna. All right, so Oppo is shuffled back. Just click for 3. Hey, Secom, how's it going? New player, love your videos. That's very kind. Welcome to the game. How's it been? We're playing some Startup. I don't know if you play Startup. It's the first time we played Startup in a long time. Yeah, we should just inside job HQ. This is where not having card draw is pretty bad. I would love just like a passive card draw. This is where the fermenter actually would be really good. The one thing that'll get us good is a behold. A behold can be really bad. We haven't seen an Oppo yet. Third card. Okay. Inside job for a single, no mark seems wrong. Inside job a single for HQ makes some amount of sense. Like she has to have agendas in there. It bounces a card off the table so we don't have to deal with it. I'm gonna do it. In theory, we should have a, what's it called? A DECKLISTS, I think. It's just like the worst thing you can do in these board states is get bored. Hano been a good card here? Yeah. Yeah, Hano have been sick. It's just like the worst thing we can possibly do here is, yeah, it's like overextend. DECKLISTS first for sure. But it's like we should probably just check, click for credits. So this is the worst thing we can do. Okay, that's a real clunker. So we can return one of these to hand. We know there's an Oppo in there. So we're gonna get Oppo'd. So we just need to keep our money up. There's a behold on top of it. It's just gonna get really annoying. Balance coverage. Okay, can't deal with that. I don't know if we have to check what this is. I don't think we do. We're gonna get Oppo'd. We need to clear 2 tags. Let's just take some money. I don't want to trash 3 and then get Oppo'd. Scrubber's in the format too. Scrubber seems like it would be really good here. HQ's mark? Yeah, no, for sure. We only made that run because HQ's mark. To reveal post-truth. And so does she draw that card or a different card? If the card's totally may reveal it. Turn 3. So she drew a post-truth. So one of these is maybe a post-truth. Scrubber also charges twinning. Yeah, that's a good point, actually. That's probably one of our best tech cards into into this by a mile. It's one influence. But this is painful. I'd argue that we don't have to check it. This is the one that we want to trash if we want to trash anything. We should just keep drawing. Oh, wait. No, that's not right. Sorry. I know I saw the card. I know I saw the card, but like there's no way you don't clicklessly gain 2 credits. You just can't do that in the other order. There's a chance we can just let her do whatever, and then all we have to do is trash this Sansan. Like, we can now pivot to that. Like, we'll just inside job HQ, trash the Sansan, and then see what she can do on the table. We don't know 12 or 15. We know Sansan, Behold. Behold is the thing I'm worried about. She's gonna make a lot of money, but like, I guess she needs ice. We're not been doing a good job. This is when it's gonna get away from us. Like, we're now 26 cards through the deck. We've seen 1 agenda. Nothing's been shuffled back. Like, inside job HQ, or just fun as clear the tag. I got my conspiracy theory that Scrubber is a good card and every day the world suggests that I'm right. In standard, it's like not as good, but it used to be a really good card. It used to be played competitively. So I think this is a Behold. This is a Sansan we know. It's 8 credits to score out 2 points to open up R&D. That's fine. Like, I don't know how you score out to win. A standard league opponent missed his free 2 credits twice today. You gotta say something. Second ice. Okay, that plays around the inside job. So HQ's flooded. We don't have sneak door. R&D's the mark. Let's just nuke and set up. Install twinning sweep HQ. It's a bit trickier because we have no way to use the Chesva credits. So we can't actually charge the twinning. So we have no breakers to pump. I'm going to check server 18. It looks like we've given up, so we should keep her honest. You have to use scrubber 7 times before it equals a missed bones? Yep. That's not great. Funhouse charges twinning? Oh yeah, you're right. We can pay 4 off the Chesva. Yeah, totally. That's a really good point. So Shovelback federal funded ladder, like its hand must be loaded. I honestly think Docklands Pass is probably enough. So Nuka, it's a bummer. No economy. So this one's cheap and it's better at VSA. The face check into Starlit Knight. Starlit Knight's what, 2 strength? It's gonna be a problem. But at least VSA is not a problem. Here, she can definitely score out and it'll open up R&D. Then we could do like twinning, boost Shibboleth, run off of the Funhouse, run HQ probably. This is also like including one of Sneak Dirt in my starter Crim decks, also my starter standard deck sometimes. Yeah, it's harder with Chesva for sure. It is much harder with Chesva. But like, yeah, I don't know. What a scrubber trash everything. She in theory also should have over-installed on this Behold, I think. Just to get back in circulation. I don't know if she would have. Like, it probably wasn't the best Spin Doctor target. But yeah, this is not good. No, I'm not making good decisions. This is just, okay. Guess we're ass spamming out. Doing numbers? We also want to watch out that we don't get to threat. Like, because now she's getting 6 credits a turn. Like, Oppo for 4 is doable, which is on us. Like, we should probably clear the table at some point. But I think the best case here, yeah, is like we do. Okay, good. So this means we're going HQ. But like, what do you score out here? Beal? It has to be tomorrow's headline, right? Like, you've had the best choice of agenda. It's just a Beal. Okay. This could be a Spin Doctor. I don't think so. So now you just send the farm, right? Often Behold is like due for corpse? Yes. So here we're just going to boost its strength. We'll see 3. Maryland? No. Starlet? Freedom? Cool. Where's the mark? Archives? Okay. So now we have to deal with the Sansan. So that's surprising. Where are the damn agendas? So now we're gonna get oppoed for a lot. Oh, is a post-truth in here? Choose an unresed card. Okay. So the problem is like with Epiphany, you can get 3/2s on top of the Sansan. So we have to deal with the Sansan. We might get oppoed here. This is expensive. We could just run R&D. Like, the agendas have to be somewhere. Clicking for a credit, like, we're going to play Tag Me. With 2 freedoms out, I think we can just play Tag Me for the rest of the game. Oh, never mind. That's a problem. It's okay. Like, we can probably play Tag Me. I don't know what the tag punishment is. Retribution to Shibboleth? That's fine. We saw Starlit Knight. Never mind. Actually, that's probably pretty bad. Run R&D and rip? Yeah, we tried. Pro tier ordering? It wasn't that bad. I don't think it was that bad. Are we going to get oppoed here? Yeah. For 4. Okay. So. She knows the order of the deck. HQ's the mark. Okay. So what do we do here? So she has a shipment from Philodissabursk in hand, and she has access to the top 3 of the deck with Epiphany. This is the only time where Epiphany gets interesting. It's where like you can't R&D lock that easily. So we can see the next 2 cards on R&D. One of them is probably an agenda. I don't think this is it. So we can run server 19. Should we have 4 cards in hand at end of turn? Yeah, we're gonna plan on it. So we can run server 19. We need at least 1 more credit to to do Spin Doctor. We can run HQ C2. On 2 credits, there's no res here we're worried about. I say tag me time? Yeah. We'd have to see the top 2 of R&D. So let's just start by going HQ. Like eventually the Starlit Knights, well, we've already hit that point, are gonna be pretty annoying. Shipment from Vlad, ping, okay. So now we can check server 19 with some more credits to trash with. We want to contest Spin Doctor and not much else. Spin Doctor, okay. So the 2 cards that she knew are now in her hand. That's important. Save 20 for R&D, yeah, no, for sure. So she's shuffling back Oppo. Really? We're in 6 tags. We're not gonna clear tags. You don't need Oppo. I think you want to bring back your win conditions like Sansa and Federal. Yeah. No. So you're highlighting it. I don't know if you need that one. Yeah, there you go. Toe Boot's also good to know. We did barely check the bin when we checked it. Cool. Sansa and Federal. Nice. Hey, that was the call. Well done. So now I think we're going to run our D&C2 cards, and then we can run HQ. Because this probably won't get rezzed on 2 credits. Next turn it will be. It's a bit too rich for us to deal with it. So here we'll boost again. It's just a C2. Nope. Yeah. Good game. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You just trash things and really need to miss that last run. Yeah. Did you just draw any from the next 2 you saw? Yeah, and we wanted to contest the Spin Doctor there, so that's why we ran HQ first. That paid off. But I think there's a chance there's hands here. There's agendas here. This makes no sense to me though. It's like 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 18 more agenda points and 21 cards plus hand. Shows cards from HQ. Behold, Bladderwort. We add the Behold to hand. Bladderwort, Maryland, Beal, Shipman, Vladisber, Starlit Knight, Starlit Knight. Okay. So she could get out a big Beal. That's scary. So that's the one that we had to check. So there was one more Beal in there. But like the agenda density here is absurd. And like Epiphany doesn't really control that. It kind of like just make sure that you don't draw into them by still putting out the board state. That's interesting. That's a really big reason why the twinning is like super important. The deck is really consistent once you can get the runner to go tag me. It just took me ages to actually line tags on you because you stopped checking table the turn I installed the Behold. 15 is an agenda. Neat. That makes sense, right? Like there's just not enough agendas. I'm surprised that she wasn't flooded. At this point, the double SK would have shut down your play. Starlit Knight? Yep. Starlit Knight would have been a problem. At that point, we are in a really, really bad spot. But it'll be a while before she can res 2 Starlit Knights. But yeah, no, it's not going to be good. The spiritual successor, yes, had some important difference from Jackson Howard. So they call Jackson Howard the Spin Doctor now? Oh, Scrub, yes, yeah. This is like the modern Jackson Howard. Normally when I just get bored of being broke and stop trashing everything and then opens the oppos. Yep. Yeah, I could see that. When your game plan is like wait for them to get bored, that's a bit of a bummer. But that's the sort of thing where like having a scrubber down, just run, trash, credit, like keeps up. Yeah. Free information shipment. Yeah. Cool. Thanks the game, eh? Would that be better in NEH? Probably. It's hard to say though, wouldn't. 17 influence is nice. But yeah, we were getting at a really bad turning point there. It's like not Bologna is sick because you actually can go tag me and kind of close the game out. Thanks for playing tonight. Time for bed for me too. Yeah, hey, stream back's open. This is still a good game. That was an absolute slog. I'll be honest. I was not having a great time. I was just trashing stuff and being like, okay. And then eventually we realized we ran out of gas, so we just had to go for singles. I wanted the sec test. Info bounty and sec test would have been the best opening there. Or just getting a fermenter down would have been huge. Much as we cut them from libs. My problem was not drawing any of my ice early game against trashes. Everything you want to transition to, and ice is scoring remote, but never drew any. Yeah, I think there's a chance that I can just let you. Like I realized I was just trashing the board to keep you down. But I'm pretty sure when you have infinite money, I'm fine. Because like Sansan is not a good win condition. When you have to score 4 agendas. Right? Like, I don't know if I'm worried about that. 2 1s are cool. So maybe. But yeah, the Behold was like the turning point. I was worried I was going to get checkist or something. That's always tricky. Behold's like the great equalizer for sure. You just want to make sure you're doing it sooner than later. And standard trashing the board is a lot more viable with Miss Bones. Starter players don't go trash much unless they're Lou. Yeah, I don't know enough about the meta, how much like people trash stuff. Like I was considering in that matchup, like maybe we should play Scrubber, but I don't know how common this is. I think NEH is probably really good in the format. All right, startup. Neat. Doesn't feel, it's like, it feels different than standard. You know, you're not playing standard, but it's like, if you're playing this, you could play standard, I guess. I'm not going to say anything smart. I'm really tired. Thanks so much for hanging out. It's good to be back after a week. Apologies for that break in content while we were barely holding on there for a bit. But I think that's really it. Oh, I have this. Check this out. This is now a part of every end of the stream. I got to do this more. Shout out to so many people who help support the Metropole Grid to make it possible. We're on Patreon. You can find the link. It's Patreon Metropole Grid. And these are just names of folks from the Degree Mill and the Sure Gamble tier that support the channel. And without the support and also the Daily Cast patrons, this channel wouldn't exist the way it does. So thank you so much. One thing also coming up right there, there's Eric Hyden's name. You might know from Neon Static. He has a logo next to his name. If you want to do that, 160 pixels by 160 pixels, you can put your stink on your name if you see it there. Thank you to all these folks. I think that's a nice, cool, fun way to get a bit of some customization up there on your name. We also want to shout out some new patrons. Pachamanca and Ricardo Contreras just signed up on Sure Gamble tier. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Eli also signed up on a Sure Gamble tier. Thank you so much to all these names here. Again, it's the only way that we can put as much time as we do into this channel. So thanks for all the support. I'm writing up a changelog for Ashes Remastered. My goodness, a high percentage of cards have gotten wording updates. 2/3 are different. Ooh, I'm really excited to see what the differences look like because I'm not actually entirely sure what the changes are. Ups, Patreon. I like how Andre has still become a full standard shill. Yeah, I know. It was like a doomed thing to do. It's like the people who I don't think care about startup, which is not exactly me. Even if you do the balance list, I don't think they'll become startup fans. Right? Anyone can have a JPEG. If you see your name there, yeah. You want one, Pod? 160 by 160 pixels. Just don't make anything absurd. I reckon for a lot of people, right, like local meta, testing group, podcast, whatever you want, get some customization on there. Just hit me up. You can find me on Discord, of course. On that note, we'll be back on Tuesday. My name finally disappeared. Yeah, I had to go through the logs and stuff, Cror. Might have been there for a minute. Appreciate the support. But yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday. I don't think I have anything to shout out. I was freeloading for so long. Yeah, it was weird. It's like I went through everything and I checked. There was a couple that were like missed. There was a couple that should have been there on sooner, so it's not the greatest, but I think it's good now. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in a bit. Ciao.